Skyrim Sunday. It's Skyrim Sunday. Yeah. Hello. Oh shit. Hold on. Get that. Get rid of that. Don't look at the thing. I forgot to. Okay, I have like a thingy that's supposed to help me like have that not show, but I don't know. I don't know how to turn it off. So today we are going to be essentially working on some more Dage requests, and I think we only have 2 left. Let me see, I literally have it pulled up. I came in with a plan, besties. I came with a plan. So one of them is Boethia's, and then the other is I believe the Hermes Mora one, which I was kind of saving for last just for funsies, you know, because you know. But basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna do those 2, and I don't think they're gonna take us a super long time, TBH. And then after that we're gonna start the Thieves Guild. We haven't really touched the Thieves Guild yet, but if you think about it, the Thieves Guild is also a Dage quest because we need the fucking skeleton key and the nocturnal shit. So we're gonna head over to the game. Okay, no more wench counters. Not that type of playthrough anymore. No more wench counter. Okay, let me make sure. Here we go. Where is the fucking wench counter? Where's my wench counter? I'm trying to disable it. I can't find it. The fuck? That's my... There we go. Wench counter. Off. Okay. There we go. Tits. Oh, I have tits open twice. Oh, whoopsie. Okay, people are throwing me twice. Oh, hello! Hello! Thank you so much for the raid, gamer! Welcome in, everybody! Good evening! Hello! You all came in. Oh my gosh, my raid sound was playing twice. Whoa, that's weird. I need to figure out why it's doing that. But welcome in, everybody. If you are new in town, hi. My name is ZB Games. I like to play Skyrim, and I like to do it on Sundays. And wow! Listen, I had it base boosted for sillies because I thought base boosting it would be funny, but I don't want it to be that base boosted. Whoopsies, but that's okay. That's a problem for later, EB. But thank you so much for the raid, Bimmer. Let me shout you out real quick. Da, 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 da. What did you play? Did you have fun? I hope you had a good gamer time. Let me make sure game is on. There we go. Wow! And we are going to start off with our Dage quest. We're gonna be evil, and it's gonna be really sexy. We're playing Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I have never heard of that before, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time. If you need to raid him on, that's totally okay. But if you'd like to stick around and hang out, that's okay too. So, what we are doing today is this playthrough that we have going on. What happened to personal space? Bro, you can chill for like 3 seconds, but anyway. We are playing a playthrough that is centered around the Legacy of the Dragonborn mod, and I'm doing it really poorly. There's a way to do it effectively so you can like actually complete things correctly, but I did not do that. We have another playthrough. Martin, thank you so much for the 6 months, gamer. You have 6 PlayStation 2s. Thank you for your support. I appreciate you. But
I always thought it would be bigger than that.
What are you referring to? Wait.
Interesting.
What does that mean? What do you think?
Not a bad place to pass some time.
Okay, he's talking about the
you
museum.
have quite the collection here. I've been so impressed, in fact, that I've sent along a contribution or 2 to the curator.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Not at all, friend. Glad to help out. It's really amazing what you 2 are doing here after all.
Thank you. Oh my god, it's the curator. Hi, bestie.
Good to see you again.
Hi. Okay, so anyway, trans carpet, skeleton on the trans carpet. Anyway, so, but basically what we are doing today is we are hopefully finishing our Dage quest because we are trying to get as many of the Dage quests done as possible so we can fill it up. We can fill up the museum real good. As you can see, we have lots of paintings, we have lots of weapons, and there's lots of rooms that we haven't gone into yet. But that is one of the things we need. We need to complete the Boethia quest. We need to complete, what was the other one? The Hermaeus Mora quest, which is my favorite Daedric prince. Absolutely no way that you could have known that or guessed that in any realm of the imagination. And then we are going to start the Thieves Guild. Vanya's going to do crime for science. The thing with this character is, if you have not heard me ramble about my OCs yet before, is, she's, well, she's, like, done some really fucked up dark magic shit, but she's not a criminal. Like, she sacrificed a child to an ancient god, but she would never steal. So we've got some fucked up morals, but welcome in, everybody! Hello! Alright, so what we need to do, I want to do the Boethia one first, because I think that one's going to be simpler. I don't think we have the Boethia quest yet. I know we have Discerning the Transmundane. That one we have. Do I have it? Actually, maybe I do, maybe I don't, because I know we have one of them already. Let me double check the name of the quest, because I don't remember what the name is. I have it up. I have, listen, me looking at a guide, that'd be crazy. That'd be insane. That sounds like a crime. Depends on who you're asking. So I don't think we actually have read the book that prompts this quest, Boethia is proving, but we can just kind of travel to the Sacellum, I don't know, of Boethia and find him. So it's in East March, southeast of Windhelm, south of Trader's Post. So our ass is gonna go to Windhelm. I do remember I got head out. Oh, well, take care of yourself, gamer, and thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. She sacrifices children, but she does pay her tax. Exactly. You get it. So let's head over to Windhelm, because that is apparently where we need to be. We haven't really been in Windhelm a whole lot this playthrough, TBH. Let me see. Transcribe the lexicon. Find the Helm of Winterhold. Yeah, I don't think I have Boethia's calling. I'm gonna double check. I don't think I do. If I see it and I scooch past it, just yell at me in the chat. Yeah, I don't think we have it. But welcome in, everybody. Hi. Hi, Corey. Hi, Dragon. Hi, Minra. Well, Minra's gone now. Hi, Yora. Welcome in. Yeah, we don't have it quite yet. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna head over there and try to use our great sense of direction. We had actually never been to Windhelm. Holy shit. Okay, so it was east-southeast of Windhelm. So, okay, never eat sour Wheaties. So probably somewhere over here. So we're just gonna kind of meander until we accidentally walk upon a Daedric shrine. Yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked. We've never been to Windhelm in this playthrough, ever. Like, we don't even have that shit discovered. So, like, I don't know. I kind of, because I hate just, like, giving up on some of the Thane weapons by doing, like, Civil War stuff, you know? But also, like, I keep saying I'm going to do them off stream because, let's be honest, right? The Thane weapons are not... Oh, fuck. I need to summon something or else Oblivion's going to get mad at me. The thing with the flame weapons is they're just not, like... Or the Thane weapons, not flame weapons. But even, same idea, though, right? They're not... The Thane quests aren't super entertaining to watch, in my opinion. They're not even very entertaining to play, actually. It's a lot of just little itty-bitty quests here and there, and then, like, yeah, I get a cool sword out of it. But, like, I feel like... The other thing that bothered me is we were doing them for a while, but one of the things that happened is it would be like, okay, I've helped this person. Oh my god, thank you for helping me. I really, really appreciate it. That was so cool of you to help me. And then I look at my quest marker, and it's like, you still need to help this person. It's like, what the fuck? Should branch off on the road leading east from Windhelm. Are we on the right road? Leading east. Oh, so it's probably over here then. Okay, so let's turn our ass around. Hi, Rainbow. Hi, Blaze. Turn our ass around. And we will get on the right road. Listen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have no sense of direction, and I'm content with that. But at the very least, with the Hermaeus Mora quest, we do already have the Elder Scroll, so that makes things easier. I also am debating if I want to finish the main quest, because I know, like, that's the thing is, my next playthrough, I'm hoping to do it in October for the start, because that's the anniversary of when we started, like, playing immersive collections and stuff like that. So I thought it'd be, like, special. I have, like, a plan. I want to do something a little special. So I got a little something cooking. something kind of similar to the lore video, but on a smaller, well, much smaller scale. But my thing is, it's like, that playthrough is going to be really Civil War focused. It's going to be very, like, main quest focused. Kind of like, I don't want to say generic Dragonborn, you know? But, like, not super, what's the word I'm looking for? Not super crazy. I'm going to turn some of my volumes up a little bit. Because the game volume's still pretty quiet. Let me know if it gets too loud. But I know, oh, hey. I know last time when I was looking, oh fuck, my BGM's still on. Okay. Okay, there we go. Perfect. But, one of the things, wait, hold on. I need to check something. Because it's saying my desktop is making noise when, I'm like alt-tabbed and it's not making noise. Let me check something real quick. Evie having audio problems? No. That's crazy. Okay, it's still doing that, but whatever. It's probably fine. It's fine. So, I do have something cooking for that, because I'm trying to time it, right? Okay, I'm trying to be big pro gamer move. Let me check. Is this the right road? Yes, this is the road. Fuck yeah. Pro gamer move, because the character that we're going to be playing next is my OC Freya. And if you've read my novel, you know who she is. You know what she's about. You know that she's very fun and quirky and traumatized. But we have a playthrough centered around her in the works. I'm looking for some other mods for it, just to add on to it, just to make it more like, I don't know if dark's the word I would use, but a little bit more like serious in a way. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not gonna be that serious, because I don't think I do anything seriously. like nothing is like 100% serious, you know, but like, yeah, okay, let me see if I can get the effects down a little bit lower, because that was kind of loud, but that should be fine. Okay. But what I'm trying to do is, my book is divided into acts, like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, just because I felt like that made sense for, like, the kind of story I'm trying to tell. Because what kind of, and I've been, if you've seen any of the writing streams, I've talked about this a little bit, but, like, the way I have it planned out is anytime an act ends, there's either a major plot event, or there's, like, a little bit of a time skip. And we're getting close, because people ask me, when is Act 1 finishing? I think it's just my mic volume that's a little bit low. Let me actually change that. Meow. Tell me if I'm too loud and tell me if the game's too loud. I hate audio balancing. I know I do it for a living, but... But basically, what was I saying? I took my ADHD meds today, I promise. Oh, that's right. But basically, eventually people ask me, hey, when is Act 1 of your book gonna be finished? And for a while, the answer was, I have no fucking idea. But now I have a goal in mind. Now I have, I think I only have 2 chapters left. The 5th chapter hasn't released yet, but it's like done. But I'm getting an art commission and illustration for it, so I'm waiting for that to be done so I can pop it out. And then, what my plan is to release the end of Act 1, a new cover, and start our playthrough all as like a little mini event, you know, make it a thing, make it kind of fun and kind of sexy, because I have a Tale of the Tongues cover that's in the work that was a donathon goal, so I'm hoping to get that cooking soon. But I have plans. I have big plans. But I realized with the lore video, with my debut, I really like doing kind of like artsy stuff like that. Hold on. Oh. There we go. Come on, where are you? There he is. I need to heal. Oh fuck, my skelly! Oh shit.
That's all you got.
Come on. I am getting healed back, I'm also noticing. Game effects are pretty loud. Yeah, I don't know why it's like everything else is quiet, but then like this is like hella loud. Then maybe turn the music down. Just a switch. There we go. Okay.
Time to die.
Oh, now they're like non-existent shit. Okay, maybe just a teensy bit more. Just a teensy bit. There we go. Just a little bit. There we go. Alright.
Your parents must be so disappointed in you.
Get his ass, Lucian. Goddamn. Okay. Alright, let's get this guy. Oh. The game crashed. I didn't even do anything. I just wanted to change the sound settings. What? I just wanted to change the sound settings. Please? Hello? Please? Oh, okay. Alrighty. Alright, let's get the game booted back up. You know, usually we go like 30 minutes before a crash, but now it's 17. That's gotta be a new record. I don't know if I saved any time recently, but at least now I know where to go. So that's still an improvement from last time. Skyrim proves itself to be held together with bubblegum and happy thoughts. Amen. Alright, come on, Skyrim. Come on, old girl, you can do it. Get up. Get up. There she goes. Come on. I don't know why it makes that sound, by the way. Like, the little, like, da-da-da-da-da-da. I still don't know why it does that, but whatever. Okay, we're gonna, let me check something. How loud is the music? Because I'm wondering if it's just the music's too quiet and everything else was good. And I just fucked everything up. What was my last save? Hold on. Was Vanya? Yeah, because we left the museum, so we'll do this one. Mysterious creation engine noises. It's the sound of me sacrificing my soul to have a stable load order. Okay, let's see. We'll lower the music volume just like a teensy bit, and then we'll lower the master volume just a teensy bit. I think that should be good, right? Yeah. If it's not, yell at me. You'd think after streaming this game, and essentially only this game, for like ever, I'd have this shit figured out by now. I don't. I'm constantly changing what is acceptable and not acceptable. So, Procrastinator, thank you so much for the hydrate. Alrighty, let's head back to Windhelm, or the closest thing to it, I guess. We're gonna get onto that road, and we're gonna go to Kynesgrove. That was the correct road. Look for the road to fork and take a right. This should happen twice, and I'll take you to the Rhine. To the shrine, not the Rhine. Okay, cool. So I'm on the right path. Yippee-ki-yay. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, because it said a fork in the road. So, like, here, take the right. Yeah. Okay, I'm gaming. I'm so fucking gaming. Okay. Let's go. Let me summon a friend. Let me phone a friend so I don't get pulled to oblivion. I like not getting pulled to oblivion, actually. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Was I talking about something before my game crashed? Probably. Oh yeah, my book. But yeah, so I'm hoping to have that all planned out. I want to do it mid-October, but we may have to, like, push it back, because I'm saying it's for my anniversary of Skyrim, but it might not actually be my anniversary, because I want to, like, I don't want to rush it, you know what I mean? Like, I want to take my time with it, because I feel like that's important, you know? I'd rather delay it, the timing a little bit, and be like, yeah, it's not exactly our 2-year anniversary, but it's pretty fucking close, than, like, have it be kind of shitty, you know, because it's like I'm really, I don't want to spoil too much, but I'm really excited about it. So, you know, but yeah, so that'll be coming up soon. I'm really excited, but pretty much we're just gonna head over to the shrine. Hopefully we're in the right direction. We can move this now, and then yeah, we should get another right when the road forks again. Not sure when that's gonna be, but we're gonna find out. But we really haven't explored Windhelm at all. So what I'm thinking is we're probably gonna do the Daedric quest, probably gonna do Dark Brotherhood, because that's my idea, is like this playthrough does have like a time limit on it now, so I want to do all the stuff that we're not gonna do in our other, starting on this road. Okay, interesting. So I want to do all the stuff that like we're not gonna do in the next playthrough. Like, I know we're not doing Thieves Guild, I know we're not doing Dark Brotherhood, so we're gonna do it now, you know? Do all the Daedric quests, because Freya, if you have not read my novel, is not like a goody two-shoes per se, but she's very much, I am big woman that hits things, and my parents are dead. She's a very good, kind of stereotype, again, I don't know, like, she fills a niche, but I think she fills it well. You know what I mean? I was reading on like a writing forum, like, is it okay to use cliches and like niches? And it's like, yeah, if you do it well, no one's gonna notice, you know? Whereas if you do it poorly, You know, if it's very obviously a cliche, you know, then, but if it's part of a greater story, then like, yeah, you know. So I always worry that sometimes I'm gonna fall into the, like, okay, that was the thing is I read writing forums a lot, and like a complaint I've been seeing a lot is, and we've talked about this before, is like all of the like romantasy going on, like with like Akotar and stuff like that, which, to be clear, if you enjoy A Court of Thorns and Roses, all power to you, but it is just not my vibe. I don't write smut. I don't plan on writing smut. I don't know if this sounds stupid, but the only time I can take smut seriously in like a writing context is if it's fan fiction. Which, like, I guess, I don't know, I guess it's like every, you know, like all those characters are fictional, right? But like some more than others. I don't know if that makes any fucking sense. But like, I don't know, I can only read fan fiction, or read smut if it's slutty. Oh, shit. Okay, we didn't kill him, but we got the kill move for that, I guess. Alright, that's cool. We also have a snow fox. That guy we fucking obliterated. Yeah, I'm not losing health for this, by the way, which I'm not mad about, but I feel like I should be, but that's okay. But that was the thing, is I was kind of worried that, but a lot of those novels like have the tropes of like, I'm a female character, I'm a badass, and I never made, and I'm perfect, and I'm hot and sexy, and I was like, I'm afraid oh shit. I was afraid I was falling into like that kind of like trope, you know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, my characters are sassy girl bosses that don't need a man. But then I remembered that Vanya literally gets her shit kicked in within chapter 1. Like, it's literally fucking 5 pages in and she's getting her ass beat. So I think it's like, Vanya is cocky and she acts like, I'm perfect, I'm good at everything, and then she gets her ass beat immediately. Smut put it into original work for the sake of it usually just makes a trashy romance. That's the thing, is like, okay, is this a safe space? Can I talk? Hold on, I don't know if I want to say this while there's Skyrim battle music going. Maybe that enhances it. I don't know. Is this a safe space? Because I'd like to talk my shit for a second. I know I said this last time, but I was thinking about it. More. Why? Okay. I have read, like I said, I have engaged in reading smut from time to time. I know that's shocking, okay? I know EB Games reading porn. What? I will never recover from this. No, but like, I am so tired of smut in like whatever the fuck using stupid terms for a PP. Like, if I have to read, like, oh, his long member. What the fuck does that mean? Is he fucking you with your Planet Fitness gym membership? What the fuck is a member? Shut up. Like, what does that mean, bro?
Take this.
Or, like, something, like, what was the other one I read that was, like, stupid? Where it's, like, like, there was one I read where it was, like, oh, his length. What the fuck does that mean? Length of what? Go on. Say it. You can do it. You're not 12, or at least I fucking hope you're not, Jesus Christ. But like, just say it. Just fucking, oh, I cannot go that way. Okay, fine. But it's like, just fucking say it. Like, he slammed my cock and balls into my fucking elf girl pussy. Like, just say that and be done with it. Jesus, like, don't need to add all these fucking adjectives, dude. Like, maybe I'm just uncultured. Maybe I'm just a bad writer because I think words for that kind of shit is stupid. Just say what it is, you know? But that's why I don't write or read a ton of smut, because I think it's stupid. Again, more power to you if you enjoy that. You're allowed to enjoy things that I don't like, and that's okay. But there's a path leading south up the mountain. I think I know exactly where I fucked up, actually. So it should be somewhere around here where the path changes, because I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, that's my hot take of the evening. Stop calling penises things they're not. Like, if we're gonna do that, just start getting crazy with it. Yeah, he put his meat. He put his meat inside. Yeah, that was the other one for like a coochie, like people saying entrance. To where? The Dave and Buster's bathroom? Bitch, you have to specify. Like, shit. But yeah, that makes me It makes me fucking angry. And again, I'm not trying to pretend that I'm God's gift to writing or anything like that, but I find it cringe. And like, again, I'm an anime girl on the internet. I have no right to call things cringe, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Why not, you know? Okay. Let's see. We're closer to Windhelm now. Yeah, I'm wondering, where the fuck where is this? There should be another fork. We can't go that way. Is it here? Like I was going backwards? Like over here? Yeah, the basement, the attic. Yeah, there's options. Right? Be clear. Okay? I'm trying to figure out where the fuck this is. Because now I feel like, I thought this was the road, but maybe it's over here. I don't know. We're just gonna fucking, hopefully just end up there. As stupid as that sounds. Yeah, I was going the wrong way. Because I think, Vampire, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream now. Gaslight Geeky Girl Boss. I apologize if you came in this stream during my fucking bad smut writing yap session. But welcome in, gamer. Okay, back to worshipping Daedric Princess. No more talk about sex, only heresy. Okay, I think it should be, because we're going up the mountain. God, it's fucking dark. What time is it? 1:22 a.m. Okay, Jesus Christ. I came with Minra's raid and I've been lurking. Oh, well, thank you, gamer. Is it supposed to be up here, maybe? I'm really ready to just hop across this mountain and call it a day. I fucking hate maps. I fucking hate maps, dude. Okay. Let's see, because now we're back in fucking Kynesgrove, dude. What is this? What is this? Okay, I'm looking it up. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. I'm looking it up. Save me, Skyrim Wiki. Save me. Where is it? So, location. South of Trader's Post. Okay, we did find Trader's Post, didn't we? Because I think that's where our game crashed last time. So now I'm like, is that related? Trader's Post, Trader's Post. Yeah, okay, so it's... Oh! I think I see it now. Okay, I think... I can count my chickens before they hatch. I think I know where I'm going. Don't quote me on that. But I think I know the way, okay? So we're gonna go, yeah. Okay, just put that in that general direction. Just so we have a vague idea of where the fuck we're going. In between the house and the ruin on the road, you were towers. Oh, follow up the mountain and there's the shrine. I thought it was gonna be a clearly marked road. Apparently not. But that's okay. It's fine. It's cool. I thank you for the lurk though, Moira. I appreciate you. Thank you, gamer. Hey, we're just gonna go in the mountain. Fuck it. Okay, this is Trader's Post. Yeah, so it should be... I think it was one of those things where there's a path, but it wasn't, like, super clear. Like, it wasn't... If it is clearly marked, I'm gonna feel really silly. If you're going up for mountains for anything, the only... that's the 7,000 steps. You know what? That's fair. That's fair. We're just gonna wander around in the wilderness. Surely nothing will happen to me while I do that. Sure. I mean, to be fair, Vanya's getting kind of ripped. Like, we're getting kind of... I mean, like... We did kind of boil someone's blood to the point where they just spontaneously combusted. So, like, she's been kind of scary. But she's not as, like, fragile as before. Yes, I did accidentally kill myself, like, 7 times last stream. But that's unrelated. That's just, it happens. You know? It happens. Okay, so maybe not this side of the mountain. Maybe a different side of the mountain is the one I'm supposed to go across. There should be a dirt path somewhere, but I don't know how you're supposed to spot that easily in the snow. Yeah, it doesn't help that it's dark, you know? That makes it a little bit... Yeah, because I see something up there, and that has me like, hey, hello, Mr. Daedric, Mr. or Mrs. Daedric Prince. Do you want to be my friend? You want to fall in love with me? Well, okay, maybe not that, but like, hey. Oh wait, I think, is this it? Yeah, okay, I think this is the way. I also, did lose one of our boners. I do need to create more boners soon. I need to give birth at some point. We must acquire more boners. Let's have soft tacos later. Let's take ibuprofen together. Yeah, we did it. Oh, fuck yeah. Okay, find the Cult of Boethia. Hello, Cult of Boethia? Hi. You guys the Cult of Boethia?
We are
oh my
Lord
god.
Boethius faithful. Have you come to test your mettle?
I have actually. Who's Boethia though?
The Lord of Plots, Deceiver of Nations, Devourer of Trinamite, the Queen of Shadows, Goddess of Destruction, He who destroys, and she who erases.
We love a non-binary babe.
Many are our Lord's lofty names, but they befit only us mortals. Intone her mighty names from now until the end of time. It is.
Are they good, by the way? Like, is
Names
something?
mean
Should I be
nothing to our
concerned about
Lord.
that?
She only cares for those who care for themselves.
I do not
Whose
care about
hearts
myself.
are full of
We're
purpose,
fucked.
Whose lives are full of deeds.
This is some kind of cult. You know, it's actually, this is a great coincidence because my heart is full of purpose and my life is also full of deeds.
If you
They are
desire a
oh my god,
glimpse of our
bro,
darkness,
Jesus.
then this is what you
What are they
must do.
fighting about?
First, prove your tongue can wield a lie. Find someone.
Okay, that's right.
Next,
This is the one where we have to
instruct
lie
your
to someone. Oh,
thrall
that
to
should be
touch
easy.
them.
Yeah,
Then,
I remember this one.
Girded with certitude.
So TLDR,
grant
we have to
the
lead someone here
ceremony
and
of
then
blade.
murder them. So that
If
should be
your
pretty
will
easy
is
because
strong
we have the
Judgment
rings.
is
Okay, but
seen.
Jesus
But
Christ.
if it is so, and if Boethia is yours,
You like a horker?
What is going on over here?
Do your worst.
The girls are fighting. Oh my god, is it what? God, okay, I'll leave you guys to it, I guess. What is a matter of pride? Oh, we have another one. Okay, well, we'll read her journal in a second. I want to get the fuck out of here. It's kind of, oh, Berk corpse, yay. It's a little noisy over here. It's a little rowdy over here. I'm gonna, well, let's see. We can probably find someone in Kynesgrove. Yeah, let's find someone in Kynesgrove. Someone who probably, like, won't be missed if they die. Which is most Skyrim NPCs, let's be honest. And then we'll lead them up there. But let's read the book. I wanted to read to the book in some oh. Ma'am, you... Okay, her coochie's out.
You
It's
keep
fine.
your distance with that magic.
Why don't you worry about your ass cheeks hanging out before you worry about my magic, ma'am? Respectfully. All right, let's see what this is, because I actually don't know what this is. It was someone... Yeah, Aranya's journal. What does this say? My name is Aranya, Imperial Historian. My research on ancient artifacts has led me across the sands of Elsewhere and the forests of Valenwood, and now it has led me to the inhospitable north of Skyrim. My quarry is that of Goldbrand, a golden katana, said to have been forged by dragons and embodies the power of the Daedric Prince Boethia. The blade has been passed through many hands, most recently those of Emperor Titus Mede II. He was rumored to have possessed it during the Battle of the Red King. After the battle, Mede II, or one of his agents, had to return to the tomb of the one said to have originally possessed the blade, Sivdir, an ancient Nord warrior who fought in defense of the dragons. And there, in Sivdir's Respite, is where Goldbrand is said to reside. Mede II was said to have felt that he lacked the right to claim the blade, and that it should return to the one who it was first entrusted. No direct record of the location of Sivdir's Respite exists in the Imperial archives. However, I discovered a strange missive on a mission involving precious cargo, and along with it, a map. As it turns out, this was the only record of the mission to return Goldbrand to Skyrim. And the map led to Sivdir's Respite. It lies in a cave in the mountains just north of Windhelm. Oh my god, we're so, like, super close to the mountains just north of Windhelm. That's crazy! Based on my findings there, I have other business to attend to now. It would seem I have some traveling yet to do. I have documented my findings in a separate journal on the topic. I'm starting to believe I may have attracted unwanted attention. Aw, shit. A group of dangerous cultists who worship the Daedric Prince Boethia are said to gather near Windhelm. And Goldbrand's whereabouts would no doubt be of interest to them. Already I feel like I see the same faces as I pass strangers along the road. I should be careful. Well, considering that's the last entry, I do not think they were very careful. So whoopsies! What happens toward the end? Well, her story's left unknown, but I feel like we can take an educated guess. So let's find someone. It is really pretty tonight. Let's find someone in Braidwood Inn, and let's see if they want to go on a little hop, skip, jump adventure with me. I'm really cute, so who could say no? TBH.
Welcome.
I do want to. I am considering, by the way, I want to check something real quick. I talked about this before on another stream. I feel like I repeat myself through a lot of streams, but I just like yapping. I've decided I kind of want to go back to Vanya's old preset, and I want to know if I still have it, because I had to make a... Oh! Who yeeted me? Who was that? I didn't see anything. Who did that? Anyway, But I wasn't sure if I had her like preset that I had originally. You know what I mean? Because I have a few Vanya presets, I think, but I don't remember which one's like the right one. Let me see. Yeah, I have Vanya. What is that from? That's from February, so that's probably. There we go. Okay. I feel like she looks kind of harsher with this one. Like, I don't know if this makes sense, but I feel like she looks more like a bitch with this one. And I kind of fuck with that, Loki. I feel like she looks too, like, kind in the other one, and that's not what I'm going for. Does that, like, that probably doesn't make sense, but I don't know. She also has, like, 2 styles of war paint on, and I don't know, what is that? Let's see, Eyes of Beauty. Can't, tell exactly. Let me look at the preset. Nord liner. It's her eyeliner. Okay. But I feel like she's just, like, the book establishes, like, the book establishes very clearly, Vanya's not a good person. Like, it's very, very clear on that, you know. Yeah, what is it, like, I'm just gonna do paint? Yeah, like there's, yeah, because that's, like, a separate thing. What is that? On her face. Girl, what is on your face? The eye shape, eye color. Her eyes are also meant to be green, so we're gonna change that real quick because I was doing shit and then I was like, wait a second. Yeah, because the eye tint. What the fuck is that? Might be under makeup, maybe. Let me see. Makeup. No. Okay. But yeah, I need to figure out how to get that off of her because I don't want her to have it TBH. But I know how to fix it because I don't know what that is TBH. But that's okay. We can also like low key lower her mouth a little bit, I think, in my opinion. Like something like that. And then maybe it's under extra hair, expressions, colors, or paint color, nose color, makeup, body paint. Yeah, I don't know where that fucking came from, dude. Let me see. I'm just gonna check the preset one more time. Hi, Cola. Let's see. Mouth. Let's see. Female Nord eyeliner style 1. So where is that coming from? Because I can't adjust that here. Sliders. The range shout, body process. A bunch of stuff about her breasts apparently, so that's cool, I suppose. Apparently she has apple cheeks. That's cool. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of her war paint because apparently this is not regular war paint. I'm wondering if it's like something I fucked up with the making the preset or something, that's like just her face now. Because that would be not great. This is, yeah, that's like a different thing. And the eyeliner color, that's something completely different. So, I don't know, we're gonna have to figure that out, I suppose, because it's not under extra mouth. Yeah, it would be under eyes, right? I don't know, man. Because I don't think I have like an additional war paint thing, unless I'm missing something. Yeah, because this is like additional on top of it. I don't know what's going on there. We don't have any like makeup sliders unless I missed them. Let me do it as like separate. Yeah. So I don't know what's going on there. Oh yeah, face paint. There was a face paint tab. There we go. Oh shit. I might have to tweak with it a little bit more later on, but if anyone knows what it is, then please, here we go. Imperial War Paint. So if I just, yeah, where did that, okay, that's cool that we can make it go away, but like, can it, there we go. Okay, that's better. I don't know, I still don't know what the fuck that was from, but it's okay. So, I do want to add a little bit of eyeliner for her. So let's do that. Eyeshadow. There we go. Just like a little bit, and then eye tint. There we go, just for fun. And then we'll do, where is the eyeliner? That's an R. Liner. Yeah, okay. And then we'll just do mouth, lip color. I want to change the lip color real quick because it's like, I feel like giving her like a little bit of a red lip would be fun. So I still want to tweak some stuff with her to edit her a little bit, but I've decided I kind of like like this one better. I don't know why. I also might change her hairstyle, low-key, because her hairstyle, I found one when I was making other characters that kind of suits a little bit better. Right, I need to kill somebody. Hold on.
I got so wrapped up in doing my makeup, I forgot to find a victim for the sacrifice. Just girly things. Hee hee.
So let's do that. Stay on topic.
Or take a seat by the fire and
Who
I'll
looks
send someone
unimportant?
Oh, did you
Are
need
you the
something?
innkeep? Yeah, you're important probably. Although you are a wench.
I'd better get going.
But it sounds like she's in charge.
What can I do for you?
No, you're in charge. So the other person is like...
Poor Rogie. If you're feeling charitable, buy the Nord
Yeah,
mead.
okay. I
He's
don't
good
think I
for it.
can convince those. He has like a title, like the younger. I'm looking for like generic McFuck. That's a child. We already did a child sacrifice once. We're not doing it again.
Yes?
I guess we'll go with you.
Do you feel all right?
I feel great.
Until next time.
Can I not get her to follow me? Like, am I supposed to like... How do I lead them? It might have to be someone that can be a follower. You know, I think that's probably what's gonna... Oh, I am ready. My friend, I'm ready to pay what I owe. Find me... Oh, that's Inigo's letter. Well, we can't take it because I'd be stealing, but okay. I think it's gonna have to be someone that can
Hi
follow
there.
us. So, let's...
See you around.
And it doesn't look like anyone fits that bill here. But we can find a mercenary. I think there's a few people that were down to follow us in a few different holds. But we can't just get like a random person. So, I mean, like we kind of can. Let's go to... Somewhere I know has mercenaries is close by. I mean, like, I don't know why, but like my first inclination is just go to Whiterun. Because that's, like, I know I'm gonna find someone there. So let's just do that and then we'll fast travel. And then we'll call it a day. Alrighty, so who would be a good? Because I don't.
the Jarl. Stop right there.
Right. I forgot about this. Fine.
rot.
Yeah. What did I do? Kill someone probably. Oh, they took all my fucking bones and that. Okay. I still don't know why this guy's just here. That's cool. We could try to escape, but I think that's why I still have a bounty is because I tried to escape last time. So we're just gonna be a good noodle. Okay, we're just gonna good noodle, serve our time, be responsible citizens. And that should be good. I think we do have a level up though. It said earlier that I didn't. I think I just forgot about it. But let's see.
My boy.
We'll do... Keep doing it in health. We're so close to raw power 3, dude. We just need 2 more points. Because that's what I'm looking for. Because a lot of these are like, they base themselves off of the elemental spells, but we're not really an elemental focused spellcaster anymore. You know, we're kind of just... Yeah. If wearing robes and no light or heavy armor, destruction spells are 30% more powerful. We should have taken that a while ago. Let me double check to make sure we're not wearing anything that's considered light armor. And we should be good. Oh, shit. This is considered light armor. That's dumb. It says robe in the title. Make it not light armor. Motherfucker. Okay, we'll have to find her a cool, sexy robe later.
Sick. Be
That's
careful.
that's a later problem. So
Dragon.
let's see.
It is my honor to stand before
You fucking arrested me like 2 minutes ago. Jesus Christ, you can't let the murder of like 5 innocent people be like water under the bridge. It was an oopsie doopsie moment, and it won't happen again. Like, damn. Okay. Let's see. Hi. Hi. I have to pet every cat. I'm sorry. Wait, what? Huh? It's that fucking dragon again! Are you... It's the one from Solitude! God damn it! It's... Fucking kidding me. Okay, I guess we're getting our blood points back! Yippee! Teleport back to Leveler's Tower and clear of crimes. That's the thing is, I totally forgot I had it. Let me see. Okay, you... Whoa! Whoa, boy. That's a little... That's a little quirky of you. Here, I'm gonna try to be a good noodle, but if I accidentally murder someone, then no one can be mad at me. Oh my god, where are you, bro? Can you just land somewhere? Good morning, Blacksmith. Welcome in. Base skills experience. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to check our blood points, but I also don't know where we were at with our blood points, so we'll have to. I didn't hit. Oh no, it did hit him. It was just very delayed. Let's also do blood drain because I need some help. I'm assuming I'm just gonna have to kill this guy, and I'm not gonna be able to outrun it because I need to find someone to murder or to lead to be murdered. You know. Hello? Oh, there he is. Wait, what? Where did that money sound come from? Hello? Okay, that hit. I'm regenning. Alright, I need to wait till he gets to the point where I can get a blood drain off so I can regen. We're gonna save real quick just in case I accidentally kill myself, because that's a habit. That's a habit we have. I don't know why the dragons have it out to me. No, to remind you of resources. Honestly, yeah, I used to have... Oh, wait. What the fuck? Where did all that damage come from? Hello? Hold on. I just took a shit ton of damage, and I don't know how. So we're just gonna do this real quick. Hee-hee. Hee-hee. Let me just kill myself real quick. I used to have, sticky notes in front of my desk before I streamed, but...
I've been forgetting about them, and I really should not do that.
Okay, I'm assuming... Yeah, bro. Can you please land? Time skirt!
They can barely tolerate our presence on Earth.
Is there not...
Today, they take away.
Is there not more important things to deal with right now? My mother... Oh, hi, you... Bro is giving a religious sermon when there's a goddamn dragon! Hi, Kelly, welcome in. Talos has big fucking tits. They even modeled her coochie lips and everything, and now we're all gonna die. But thank you for the raid. I hope you had a good stream. I need this dragon to die because I'm trying to sacrifice someone to endanger Prince, and it's really killing my vibe that there's a dragon here. There's a lot going on right now, but thank you so much for the raid. If a mod could shout out Yume while I'm fucking getting obliterated, I'd appreciate it. But welcome in, Raiders. Hi, if you're new in town, I'm EB Games. I like Skyrim, and I like mods that give big boobies in Skyrim. That's about it. And we're trying to kill a dragon so I can kill people. I hope that makes sense. Oh, Apple, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you've been doing well. I hope you've been having a good gamer time. It's good to see you. All right, let me heal myself again because I'm not doing shit. Oh, okay, I forgot. Okay, right. Both hands need to not have a blood spell in it. Okay, all right, we've got, they're playing my song. They're playing my song. Blue Dino, thank you so much for the follow. Look at this shooting out. Yes, I can you, girl boys. Oh, they're playing my song. They're playing the song. I have to, where the fuck is he? Stop running around. Okay, where'd he go? Hi. Can I, let me heal off of you. Let me suck your blood, please, thank you. Oh, shit. Okay, here we go. He's off. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay, now I should be able to do this. Oh, no, that's my blood dagger. Where's blood? This one. Oh, it's close. Can I please regen? Oh. Motherfucker! It was so good. Don't just stand there, do something! Every time I try to help, every time a city is under attack, I try to help, but then I accidentally slightly bonk someone with my forbidden dark magics, and oh, now it's a problem. Now I have a bounty, and now I have to do this again. I'm very calm and collected right now. EB getting obliterated on stream? I thought that'd be a different website. I mean, David's right back there, bro. No, I'm kidding. Okay, where are you? Okay, clearly we should not be using blood magic right now. You know what? We're just gonna, actually, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna change our approach. We're gonna heal ourselves first, because this may come as a shock to you, but dying, bad. And then we're just gonna throw fireballs at it because that, I feel like is the safest. Oh no, it's a fucking fire dragon. Okay, let's change our approach then. Let's do, not frost cloak, we'll do icy spear, I think. It takes a lot of magicka, but we should be able to do it. Why do they get so upset about forbidden dark magic? Because they're babies. That's all. They're just big babies. Right, come on. trying to lock on. I'm trying to lock in. Did that hit? No. Okay, still. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Yeah, he's taking a big amount of damage from that. Okay. Fuck, I'm already out of magicka. Yeah, it takes a lot, but it's good. Yeah, our next character is gonna have a crossbow, and I'm really fucking excited about it, not gonna lie. I miss using the Skyrim crossbow. We haven't done it in forever. Okay, come on. Fuck. Okay, I'm out of our sauce again. I mean, we can throw like a few daggers at him maybe as a treat. There we go. Okay, one more. Second hit. No, it's off into the aether. Okay. Let's do... Oh, shit. Okay, in that case then, fuck, you're right here. I'm just gonna heal with you. Oh, we shouldn't use that spell. It's AoE. It's AoE. Would you like your blood boiled? There we go. Okay, come on. There we go. It should be almost dead. There we go. Okay.
Really dead then?
It's not too bad. Not too bad. Alright, anyway. Now that that's over with, can I please go back to finding someone to murder? Which one of you bitches would like to follow me to a Daedric shrine?
No offense, but you're not looking so good. Are you feeling ill?
Shut up. Alright, anyway. Let's go, yay, Dragon Soul. Yippee! Are you good, by the way? I know that was a lot. Are you good? You need another pet? I just wanted to pet the cat and a fucking dragon shows up. I hate it here. Okay. Alright, let's... Ysolda!
Do you feel all right?
Am I diseased? Hold on, actually. Am I diseased? I have fucking rock joint. God damn it. Okay. I was like... I didn't see it till the very end, and I was like, are they just like... Do I just bring everyone's vibe down? Is that it? We don't have any potions of cure disease, though, which is probably not great. So let's actually go grab some of those real quick. We probably have some in the safe house, but it's fine. It's fine.
Pretty full stock of potions and alchemy reagents.
Hi, Arcadia. It's crazy out there, girlfriend.
You look rather pale.
I know.
Could be ataxia.
Okay, yeah.
Take a look.
Give me... You know what? Let's just grab this. How much money do we have? We have like 15k. I know my big ass head's blocking it, but it's okay. Cure disease. Let's just buy all of them. Fuck it. Oh wait, I can get cured at a Shrine of Talos. I don't need your shitty potions. Sorry, that was really mean. I always forget that shrines cure you. I don't know why, but I just like, I don't know. It always just escapes my brain. Alright, let's do that. Let's cure ourselves of our diseases. Mr. Talos. Mr. Talos. Hi. Are we still... God, he's still going. Can you scooch out the way real quick? Thanks, man. Okay. Appreciate it. Very, very... Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
What are you doing that
I think there's someone in, the inn, what's her name, Uthgerd? I think we can get Uthgerd and that'll be okay. Crazy there's only one replacer for Arcadia. Yeah, I need to download it. I want to make her, like, pretty. It's not that she can't, it's not that I like when the replacers still, like, age them, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want everyone to look like they're, like, 22 fresh out the club, you know? But, like, we can still have a little bit more MILF energy with us, you know what I mean?
The security in Whiterun is terrible. Shameful is what it is.
Yeah, you're telling me. Let's see. Hey.
Greymane or Battleborn?
Greymane, because I want to start problems.
Then you're either a Stormcloak sympathizer or a fool. Either way, you're no friend of mine.
I just want to start
You look like someone who can hold
We
their
just
liquor.
did this quest. Okay, we're not going to do that quest again just because we literally just did it on our other playthrough. Hey, girly.
Think you can go blade to blade
You're,
with me? You'd be dead in 6 seconds.
You got a little something going on over there. I think we have to fight her and then she'll follow us. We'll try that.
Why not? I could beat 100 gold says I knock your hide to the ground.
Sure.
Just fists.
We
No
have to be
weapons,
careful
no
because
magic,
we are
no
made of
crime.
tissue paper and
Let's
Vanya
go.
hits, we can't
Come
even
on.
say she hits like a girl. Like she doesn't, not in like a girl boss, like, you know, that kind of way. It's just Vanya's literally, oh boy. Vanya is a baby. in so many ways. Okay, come on, get her. Give her the 1-2. Oh yeah, give her the 1-2. The 1-2. The 1-2. The 1-2. The 1-2. Okay, come on.
I
Okay.
will destroy you.
Oh, God, yeah, she is stronger than me. This is. Oh, Vanya, you are literally.
Come on.
Oh my God, come on. You can do it, girl. You can do it. Give him the 1-2.
Still can.
The 1-2. The 1-2. Oh my God, come on, hit her. Hit her. Oh, she's rocking my shit. She is. I'm just a little girl. I'm literally just a mage. I'm just a mage. I'm just. I don't know anything. Help me. I mean, what happens if, like, what if I were to just, like, hypothetically? Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So apparently, trying to boil someone alive is not dirty fighting. Apparently. She got upset. Isn't there a merc you can pay there? Probably, but I wanted to see if I can get away with it without spending money. But Vanya is just really good at getting her ass beat, I guess. The clawed gauntlets. I need to know if I don't think we have those yet. Why did I give you a bounty? I did give me a bounty for the reach. The fuck? All right, is anyone here willing to be my friend? Who wants to be my friend?
I'm a bard by trade. Perhaps you've heard of me.
No.
It's the leaving that's
let's
hardest.
see.
I know.
Yeah, because I think there should be a mercenary in here, or at least like somewhere around here. Let's see. I know there's also Janassa usually hangs out around here. Can I? Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to. It's such a reach. Let me. Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to do something here, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay. Hi.
Hi there.
We'll do that quest later,
See you
but
around.
if she's not willing to follow us right now, it's not my priority. So we might need to look outside a bit then. Maybe Janassa. I think we have to pay Janassa, but it's fine. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone here that'll follow me. Damn. Okay. What a fucking. What a day. What a day. Go to Riverwood. Yeah, it was either Whiterun or Riverwood where I'm like, there's gotta be someone that's just like, hey. We'll see if Janassa's here because she's hot goth lady, and I am a big fan of hot goth ladies. If you haven't, well, hey, hold on.
Hi there.
Wait. So can I?
Huh?
Oh no. Okay. There was part of me that's
It's
like,
been a pleasure.
can I get the hooker to follow me? Like, I don't want to have sex. I just want to kill it. Oh, that's bad. That's really bad, actually. Whoopsie. We're just gonna go to fucking Riverwood and call it a day.
Sometimes I say things without thinking, and then I say them, and I'm like, whoop. Shouldn't have said that, but it's okay.
Alright, anyway. Let's see. Sven should be here. Someone in Riverwood will surely help me. Hello? Would anyone like to be sacrificed? What age
Feindal thinks he can woo Camilla Valerius away from me.
Oh my god.
She's
wait,
already
he won't
mine,
do it
I keep
either.
telling him.
Shit. Okay.
Until next time.
We probably need to do that quest, though.
Couldn't possibly
We're gonna see if someone... Okay, we're gonna see if someone will just do it. But if not, we'll do the Sven Feindal quest. We gotta fix that. We gotta fix that.
You're kind of fuzzy.
No.
What's wrong with you?
Let's see. I guess
Papa
maybe they're in the inn. There's someone like a mercenary or something. He's already perfect. You know. You're right. You're actually right. He's perfectly fine. Let's see if there's anyone in here, and we might just have to do this Sven Feindal quest because I forgot about it for so long. I don't think random citizen is going to be much help. Let's see. Orgnar, no. Okay, we'll do the Sven. Well, let's see if there's anyone down here. We'll do the Sven Feindal quest, and then we'll call it a day. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah, there's no one over here. Anyone in here? Okay, just double checking. Oh.
Good to see you.
Hi. Okay. Is the water warm?
It's nice to see a friendly face
Yeah,
around
good to
here.
see you. Do we sacrifice Berk? Berk. Bestie.
Lead the way.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Berk. I'm sorry, King. I'm sorry. Oh. Please don't tell the curator of the mod pack I used. I sacrificed him to a endangered prince. It's nothing personal. It's just the wrong place at the right time. I'm sorry. Brother dead. Okay, let's get this over with. Sorry, Berk. I've been spotted. What? Huh? Huh? Are you good? You don't look so good. You okay?
Can I assist you?
Yeah.
Let me know if you need anything.
Thanks, man. Okay. We're just gonna head up here. Do I have the special knife? What's the special knife? The blade of sacrifice. That's right. Let's grab that. Hi, bestie. I know, I know,
Do you wish to test yourself against me?
No, I don't, actually. You've done a lot of great work with this mod pack. Really appreciate it. It's really great. And I just, you know, wanted to bring you here to share a box of Krispy Kremes with you, and it'll be really fun. You know, just come up here and I'll give you a Krispy Kreme. Not you, Lucian. Do you have immersive armors? I think I do. Hi, Conker. What did that say? Which one? I go too fast. Wait, Berk? Where'd he go? Did he catch on to my plan? Probably. Wait, is he? Hello? Berk? 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 What? Where'd he go? That fucker escaped. Oh, here he is. Oh, hey.
Can I help you?
Hi. Okay, come with me. Come with me. Yeah, come here.
Is there anything else you need?
Come here. The Shroud of Boethia? Oh, I kind of want that. Hi. Here, come here, bestie. Come here.
Do you wish to test yourself
Shut
against
up.
me?
I'm doing something, bro. Come here. And just...
What are you doing?
Just...
I'm on your side. What are you doing?
Do I have to... Oh, shit. Wait, why is he actually Jack, though? God damn it. Okay, tell him to touch
What
it.
can I do for you, sir?
Okay, I forgot about that. I need you to do something. Here we go.
Sure. What can I do for you?
Oh, yeah, just,
what is it?
touch that.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Okay, got it.
Come on.
Okay, got it.
Touch. Shut up, Lucian. Touch the pillar.
Okay, got it.
Touch
Okay,
the
got it.
pillar.
Okay, got it.
Touch the
Okay,
pillar.
okay,
Go right there.
got
Go
it.
right there. Now touch this.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
Oh my god. Why is this? Oh, he knows. He knows my fucking
Do
plans.
you wish to test yourself against
Shut
me?
up. Okay.
You've returned.
I have. Yeah. Okay. Follow me.
Let's get going.
There we go.
Can I assist you?
Okay. I need you to do something.
Sure. What can I do for you?
Thanks, man.
What is
Why don't you just here? Let me move out. I'm just gonna move out of the way. Why don't you use that?
Okay, got it.
Wait, is he going? Wait, where are you going?
A well-placed word
Oh my God, where
or
did
a
you come from? Holy
well-placed
shit.
dagger,
Wait, is
both
he going?
can achieve equal purposes.
Wait, what are you doing? Oh my God.
You heading out?
Yeah. Yes. Just go.
Sure. What can I do for
Go.
you? What do you need? Okay, got it.
Okay. Oh my God. That's what I deserve. You know what?
Ready to get going?
You can...
I'll head back home if you need me.
Thanks, man. I deserve this. God fucking damn it. Now I have to do the Fane Dog quest. I hate it here. I don't think I'll let you off because this guy is a mod. That's fair. But listen, are they essential? He might be marked essential. Listen, it's what I deserve. Should you grab Lydia? Do we have... Oh god, where the fuck is Lydia? Because I'm down to kill Lydia. Like, what? Let's actually open follower framework for the first time in 72 billion years. That's the thing is we haven't been able to find any of the random mercenaries. They all are like, maybe they know that I'm... Okay, not Flower Girls, wrong one. This one, there we go. Okay, activity. Who we got? Who we got? Where's my follower stats? No followers! Great, okay. Okay,
I'd be a lot warmer and a lot happier with a belly full of meat.
I don't have the time for this right now. Back off. Okay. Let's do this stupid Sven Feindal quest. And then we'll be fine. Then we'll call it a day. Then we'll be... Can you follow me?
You're pretty. I'll give you that.
No, okay.
Just stay away from my husband.
Alright, let's just go do this quest. Do this quest. And I'll be fine. I'll be fine. It'll be great. Is it my history for NFF? Let me see.
Come on.
So I'm like, I used to have a shit ton of followers. And I guess I just lost all of them. Whoopsie. You know, it happens. I trust them to make their own choices. I give them choice, you know. Let's see. What the fuck? Okay, Lydia's in Sedge Blood. Okay, we can get Lydia there. Okay, Lydia, can you come here? Here, calling on exit. Yes. Lydia, get over here.
The fire. Take a seat.
Thank you. Oh my god. Hey.
Honored to see you again.
Hey
my
girl,
Fane.
come with me.
Lead the way.
Okay, there we go. I always forgot you can do that. All right, thank you. Okay. I don't feel like doing the Sven Feindal quest right now. I'm gonna be so real with you. Because I think it's just because we just did it with the Jasper playthrough, with our other playthrough. Oh, this is pretty. The sunset. This is really pretty. Anyway. Time for sacrifice. Time for sacrifice. Time for sacrifice. Da, 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 da. Alright, let's see. Hopefully she'll touch the fucking thing. Listen. I am really excited to use Lydia in our next playthrough because I'm going to use the Lydia Dialogue Expansion mod, and that looks really cool. But Vanilla Lydia, as far as I'm concerned, can eat rocks. So, there's that. Okay, let's give it another try. Give it another try. Second time, question mark, is the charm? Yes.
A well-placed
okay.
word
Hi.
or a well-placed
Lydia?
dagger. Both can achieve equal purpose.
Lydia, come here. I have a task for you. Come on. No, don't turn around. Lydia! Lydia.
Yes, my Thane?
I need you to do something for me.
Your wish is my command.
As always.
Come here.
What do you need?
I need you. Oh my. Okay, there you are. I need you to do something.
Your wish is my command.
I can't
As
go that
always.
far, apparently.
What
Wait
do
there.
you need?
There. Come here. Then use that.
Okay, got it.
Oh no! Lydia!
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, you do. Come on. I think maybe I do just have to hit her. Come on.
Yes, my lady? Your
Try
wish
it.
is my command.
Okay,
As always.
Why don't you come right
What
here?
do you need?
Right here. Right here.
Okay, got it.
Come on. Get out of the way.
Well-placed word
Watch
or a
what you're doing.
well-placed
Got it.
dagger, both can
Still
achieve
need me to do
equal
something?
Lydia,
purposes.
please let me fucking murder you. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Please.
Do you wish to test
You're
yourself
blocking my
against me?
sacrifice, bro. Stop cock blocking my sacrifice. Get out the way. NFF disable followers. You know what? Yeah, let's try that. We're gonna be a little quirky. I just want to kill people. Why can't I murder people? Please, I'm begging you. Okay, it's in... What is it? Activity gameplay. Taunt check. Interactions? No. System? No, I don't think so. Abilities? No. Home bases. Might be in tweaks. Here we go. Maybe if I mark her specifically. Lydia? Audio. I make her non-essential. She's protected? Jesus Christ! Oh, what about this guy? Wait. Who the fuck is this? No one gives a shit about that guy. Yeah, who this guy.
Honored to see you again, my thing.
Yeah, who, I don't know who the fuck you are.
Long life to you,
yeah,
thing.
okay. Follow me.
Let's not waste any time.
Any follower marked essential can't be used for this? Jesus Christ. Okay, are you essential?
We've stopped. What is it?
Okay, here we go. I need you to do something for me. Wait, what? Where is it? I have to trade some things to you to create after with you. Why can't I ask him to do anything? Talk about home, time for... What?
I'll guard you with my life.
I need you to kill yourself! Please! I'm begging you! Okay. What? Okay, here.
Yes?
Let's do this. This one.
No need to get rough.
I don't know. Oh. Lydia's not essential. She's dense and useless. That's what I'm saying.
We've stopped. What is it?
Okay. Yeah, there's no option for me to ask him to do something. Why? I'm gonna fucking
I will
lose
protect you with my life.
Oh my god. Please let me kill you. Please. I'm not killing Lucian. It's not happening. I'm sorry. This is so sick and twisted. Why can't I kill people? Okay, you come here. I mean, we can see what happens if I like...
I hope life's treating you well, friend.
Okay, use this.
Let's get going.
Like, maybe I have to hit him, because they did give me the blade. Like, let's see what happens if I hit him.
We should keep moving.
Hey, watch it.
Hey, be careful.
Oh, it doesn't do anything. Alright, let's try it again with Lydia, just for funsies. Okay. Need you to do something.
Your wish is my command, as always.
Use that.
What do you need? Okay, got it.
A well-placed
Okay. How... I just want to kill people. Why is that so hard? Male chatter enabled. Optional companions. Gameplay. Sure, level potion recovery. Let me look from the beginning. Ensure combat ends. No player damage for 2 minutes. Unwilling force ignores followers. Improve combat awareness. Here we go. Okay. Let's try this again. There we go. Hi, buddy.
Yes, my Thane.
It still won't let me do anything with him.
Let's go.
But...
Yes, my Thane?
You are no longer protected. Get in there.
Your wish is my command, as
Get
always.
in there, bestie.
What do you need?
Be careful.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
Okay. He's waiting.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
Peace.
Okay, got it.
Ah!
Watch what you're doing.
Yeah, we're gonna just... Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna... reload right over... Oh, fuck it. You know, we'll save. It's fine. Or if we need to go back to a later save, it's fine. But this is... a little silly.
Back already?
We're gonna try one more time. One more time. I might be losing my marbles.
As always.
What
do you need?
What are you staring at?
Okay, got it.
Oh my god. Okay, alright, we're reloading. We're reloading. I'm calm. I'm collected. I'm normal. Okay? Okay. Glad we're all on the same page. What? Okay.
Back already?
I need you to do
Your
something.
wish is my command, as always.
Use this.
What do you need?
Bro is... Oh. You doing you got a stanky leg going on, bestie? Oh my god.
How may I help you?
Let's try
Lead the
this
way.
one more time. Oh, what did you do, bro? Okay. Because I'm wondering, it says slay them.
Watch it!
So I'm like, do I have to have them touch it? Or can I
Can I
just
help you?
murder someone in the vicinity?
Sure. What can I do for you?
This-
What do you need?
This right here.
Okay, got it.
Right here. Please. Please. Tanning leather at a time like this. Oh my god. Okay, something's gotta be glitched at a point where a mod isn't appearing. Argus shouldn't be essential at all. This should work. It should. Why are they using special markers? I have no idea.
What can I do for you,
This
friend?
is what happens when you have 850 mods.
If there's any way I can be of service, please.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, let me see.
Do you wish to test yourself?
This person.
Though we live in shadow, we can't.
I want to Google something real quick. Hold on. Bless you, David. I want to Google something. We can always unessential him. He should be unessential is the thing. Like, he should... I've marked all my followers as... Well, hold on. Okay. Boethia's calling. Where's the... Here we go. Boethia's calling. Touch. Pillar. Okay. Highlight the pillar and said use the pillar of sacrifices, and they'll be pulled in, and then they'll be stuck to it. Okay. That works. Press and hold prompt until it registers. So you have to do it a few times, apparently? Maybe a random wench or something. Yeah, can I get the... That's what I thought. Can I get the wenches to follow me? I didn't think I could get the wenches to follow me. Okay, I had to scoot away for the command to take. Okay, I ran into this and was able to get them to do it by making sure they were further away from the pillar before giving the command. Recruited my girlfriend from this game. Jesus fucking Christ! Motherfucker! Thank you for the 100 bits, Delu. I appreciate you. Ah, I'm just trying to kill somebody. Okay, turning mods off play with 6. I made many sacrifices essential and they can be killed. She pressed the squiggly types. What? Okay. It'd be great if she said what, if the poster said what they typed, but that's okay. Command is set essential and then the ID to 0. Okay, so here's what we're gonna check real quick. Here's what we're gonna do. Okay, I promise you, we're gonna try the one thing where we stand further away. Hey, girl.
I've been waiting for
you. Hey, girly pop. Hey, bestie.
Your wish is my command.
May I interest you in killing yourself?
What do you need? Another mug of me till you fall down. Miracle of a song, Matt.
Now is not the time for singing, Lucian.
Be careful.
Oh, fuck, I got too far away. Okay.
We heading out?
One more time. One more time. You are first, yes. Okay, come on.
Your wish
Please.
is my command, as always. What do you need?
Kill yourself. Kill yourself.
Okay, got
Please go kill yourself. Please go kill yourself. Is she going? Is she going? Kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself. No! Okay. Here. Alright, what is your ID? House Carl Whiterun, edit ID. Which fucking ID do I use? Okay, set essential. We're gonna do base form ID and see if that works, because that looks correct. Yeah. 0, 0, 0. A to C, A, E, 0. Oh, no more weapons. Okay, you're no longer essential. Oh, I don't know what you're doing. Okay, we'll drop the blade of sacrifice. We'll just get that later, I guess. Oh, fuck. Okay.
Ready to get going?
I really hope I find that. Okay, okay. Please.
Your wish is my command, as always.
Kill yourself.
What do you need?
Use this.
Okay, got it.
Use this. My God, I'm gonna fucking scream.
Okay, got it.
Come on. Guys, get out of the way! Let her do her thing! think this quest might be broken.
Do you wish to huh?
Oh my god. Can I just kill myself at this point? Strap me on there. What?
A well-placed word or a
Dismissing all your other colors?
well-placed
I think we're gonna
dagger?
have to. Lucian, I love you,
Both
baby.
achieve
Baby boy, I
equal
love you.
purposes.
I need you to go home. I need you to go home. Do you know where home is? Do you know where home is? Okay, why don't you go home?
Greetings.
Let's, here, well, we're gonna have to...
Really? You're sure? Well, I suppose I've had my money's worth. Come find me back in Fall Creek.
He's so sweet, I love him.
Thanks.
No, I will come get you, baby boy. I promise I will come get you. I promise. Do it blind. If I don't find the knife, I'm genuinely gonna be so upset. We need that for our museum. Okay, you. Who else? Looks like everyone else is gone. Okay. Alright, come here.
I've been waiting for you.
I know. Follow me.
As you will, my Thane. I will protect you with my life.
Come here. She's following me. Yes, yes.
Do you wish to test yourself against me?
Come. Okay.
Yes, my lady?
Okay. I need you to do something.
Your wish is my command,
Okay.
as always.
Well,
What do you need?
I need you to go kill yourself. I need you to go kill yourself. Oh my god!
what?
Do you wish to test yourself against me?
Candleberg,
You
go
need something?
home!
I'm happy to help if I can.
It always works with Mercurio. Okay, where the fuck is
I'll head back home
Mercurio?
if you need
I don't remember where he is. If we need to go get one specific motherfucker to murder, I'm not opposed to that. You, what? Okay, that works. You know.
Glad you're here.
Hi, Car. I'm trying to murder a follower, but it's not working.
here
I
to
keep telling them to kill themselves and then they won't. I've been trying for 20 minutes to get one of my followers to fucking die.
I'll be back at your house.
And I
if you need
can't
anything.
do it. And I dropped my cool knife and now I can't find it. And I need it for a display. Please, God.
Do you wish to test
Please
yourself
let me
against
find
me?
my fucking knife. No. No, they're not set to essential. We set them to unessential. Okay, where is Mercutio and place it me? Okay, let's see. I want to find the knife first, actually, because I genuinely need that. I dropped it for the meme, but I do need that. Okay, where?
Be careful!
Shut up. It was somewhere around here, right? Where is it? Fucking fall into the earth? Is it gone forever?
A well-placed word or a well-placed
Oh my God.
dagger? Both
do
It's
you
gone.
wish to test yourself against me?
We might just need to spawn it. We might just need to console command it back in. I hate it here. I fucking hate it here. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back all the way to here. Okay, we're gonna go back all the way to here. Okay? We did it for the memes. I had a mental breakdown for the memes. Okay? Okay, I'll do it. I'll do that. Okay. There's children screaming outside. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And then we're going to find Mercurio. Okay, is it literally just search Mercurio and then place at me with the item ID? Let's see. Concerning things to hear out of context. I feel like all my stream is concerning to hear out of context. Sven is the most popular Boethia sacrifice. That's the thing, is I didn't want to do the whole quest for him, you know? Because I'll be real, I don't feel like it. Mercurio. No, where is he? Okay, back to Google. I am going to do this quest. So fucking help me. Mercurio Skyrim location. Because I deadass don't remember him. The bee in the barb in Riften. I have to go to Riften? Ah! Okay. Hiling for this like gymnastic. That's what I was gonna do, but we can't find any of them. They're all gone for some fucking reason. It's like they know I'm coming. I'll spend the 500 gold at this point. I don't give a fuck. Okay, you know what? Fuck. Wait, we'll try again. We'll try again. Maybe they were just scared of the dragon attack, okay? Maybe now that the dragon's gone, because I killed the dragon. I'm the nice guy. Maybe they're back now. Maybe they're back now, okay? All right. Come here. Fuck, I opened Steam overlay. God damn it. Okay. Hello? 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 Is anyone out there? Oh. No. Fuck. Okay, anyone in here that I can hire? Please? Please? See, we tried to have the fist fight with Uthgar, but she kicked my ass.
Welcome. Let me know if you want anything.
Please. Is there a hot goth lady I can murder? Please, I'm begging you. Oh, we gotta go to fucking Riften. We have to go to Riften. I don't want to go to Riften. I don't go to Riften. Why is the game making me go to Riften? I don't want to go to Riften. Okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. The game crashed. Gamers, I'm about to fucking lose it. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, glasses are going back on. Evil glare is also going back on. Okay, I'm evil and I can see. Okay. I'm not religious, but I am now. Dear God, please let me kill a man in Skyrim. It is very important to me. Please. It's for a good cause. Not really, but that's neither here nor there. I just want to murder someone. I'm literally just a girl. Like, I'm literally just a little girl. I don't know why I can't find any of them. They're all running away from me. Why are they running away from me? Why are they scared of me? I'm adorable. I might be made of a gazillion blinking eyes. And I might have killed hundreds of people, but I'm so cute and fun. They want to hang out with me. Okay. Making sure you stepped away from the spire when you activate them will work. Okay, so we have to be, okay. We're gonna go to Riften. We're gonna get Mercuria. We're going to not step on the thingy. And we're gonna have no one else with us. Everyone else is going home. They're going on break. They're taking the day off. Okay. All right. Hi. Would you like to go home for a little bit?
Good to see you.
Here, I need you. I love you, baby boy. I love you so much. We need
Really?
to. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need you to skedaddle.
Yes, my lady.
I'm sorry. I
Come find
need you
me back in
to.
Valkyrie
I
if you
love
change your
you.
mind.
Oh, it hurts so much. Okay. You
Well,
you can
if you say so.
fuck off. I don't really care
Be
about
careful
you.
out
But let's. Okay, just so we don't have to do that again in case the game crashes for some fucking reason. Let's quick save. Okay, we have our knife. Normally I try to honor the drop hits as well as I can. But we need this for the museum. So if we drop it again, it'll be in a place we can find it. Okay. We're going to fucking Riften. Can I please go to Riften?
Gaslight, geek,
I just
girl
crashed
boss.
RVT. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Now, Gaslight, keep girl boss. I'm trying to kill people, and they're sending my ass to Riften. Oh, welcome in. I'm very sane and normal right now. I'm so sane and normal. Apparently, Mercurio is the best man to murder, so we're over here now. I mean, we're gonna have to be over here anyway for fucking oh god, what's it called? Thieves Guild, you know, so it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Come
hi.
on in. Just
I'm
stoked
looking
the fire.
for
Take a seat and get the cold out.
someone willing to die for me.
If your allegiance lies with
let's
the
see.
Empire, we haven't much to
Mercurio.
discuss.
Let's see. It's fucking dark in here. Could you guys like turn a light on? Jesus Christ. Okay. What? Hi, Brynjolf.
Well
Ah! Crush WT, thank you so much for the raid! Thank you, gamer. Welcome in, raiders! Oh my god, crunchy raid noise! Crunchy raid noise! Yay! Thank you so much for the raid! What did you stream? Did you have a good time? Not another Esper's not following. Thank you so much for the follow, gamer. You know, guess I geeky. Whoa. That's not how that's supposed to be. Did you have a fun stream? If I could shout out Crash, I'd really appreciate it. Did you have a good gamer time? I'm kind of losing my mind because I keep trying to kill someone to sacrifice them to a Daedric prince and they won't let me kill them, and I'm really upset about it. So apparently Reddit said this is a good person to murder, so we're trying to find the best murder option.
Girl boss.
Trent, thank you so much for the follow. I guess I can keep girl boss. Can I kill you?
Need something?
Oh, you won't let me. Listen, I will kill myself before I sacrifice Brynjolf. I will strap myself on that goddamn pole, and I will twerk before I kill myself in the name of Boethia. Okay. Hi. Can you? Fuck. I can't hire her, or I can't get her to follow me. Where's the guy? Mercurio, that's his name. Apparently, he's here. Reddit would never lie to me, okay? Yes, you.
Brilliant.
Hi, consider yourself hired.
With a master of magic
Yeah,
at your
great,
side.
awesome.
You'll
Fucking
have nothing.
get out of here. Let's go. We're going. We're going. But thank you so much again for the raid. If you need to raid him, that's totally okay. If you want to hang out too, that's okay too. We're about to kill somebody, hopefully. So we're gonna let it auto-save because our game has crashed 2 times today. Thank you, 800 mods. Very cool. And then hopefully we have dismissed all our other followers. This is apparently the best man for murdering. And hopefully we can kill this man and complete the Boethia quest. We're trying to do all the Daedric quests because who? I get fucking murked by floating lanterns? I hate it here. Okay. We just want to complete all the Daedric quests. That's all we want to do. I've been slowly losing my marbles, but that's okay. Always do the other approach to this quest and kill all the cultists. You know what? That is true. If this doesn't work, the solution is mass murder. So, you know, it's all good. We had a pretty unhinged stream. Otherwise, hope yours has been going well. It's been going. It's been going. We're about to see if it's going good or if it's going not good. Okay.
What can I do for you, friend?
Hey, bestie. Have you considered dying? I need you to do something for me. I need you to... Wait, what? Why doesn't he have the... Oh, no. Why doesn't he have the option?
Lead on.
Why doesn't he have the option? Why can't I direct him to do something?
What can I do for you, friend?
Okay, I need you... Oh, no. Okay. We open up the mod menu yet again. Fine, okay. Slots? Mercurio, yes. There we go. Gameplay. Protected followers should be off. I don't know why that's on again. I think it's because we didn't save it. Let's see. Interaction, maybe? Will let us touch things. Get behind me, snap out of it. Dismiss steward. Create torches. No. Expendable recruits. I can bribe people. Okay, if we can bribe people, that might give us better options. Bribery is always an option. Point your crosshair at him and hold E. Okay.
Oh, if there's anything else you need.
Let's see this. Wait, no.
How good to see you.
Don't be removed. Don't be removed. What?
Since you paid my fee recently, I suppose it's only fair. Once more into danger.
Okay, here.
What do you need?
Go here. Please. Come on. Oh!
Still here.
Okay. Try this again.
Is there anything else you need?
I need you. Use
Okay,
that.
got it.
Please. 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 Yes! It's happening! Yes! Yes! Ah! 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 Yes! We did it!
Wearing flesh is so distasteful. You have caught my attention, mortal. That is most unwise.
Hi!
Tell me, why have you slain this one?
Because Reddit told me it'd be the easiest! I've slain Marcus, to gain your favor.
My favor?
We've been doing this
My good
for
pleasure
30
is
minutes.
not some trophy for mortal sport. I should slay you for such insolence.
Suck my cock, I don't care. I'm not afraid of you.
Is that so?
Yes!
You should be.
Ah!
Though a heart without fear is something I can use. Perhaps you are the one I seek.
Please, I will literally...
We shall soon find
If you
out.
give me your favor, I will give you the sloppiest head of your life.
Listen,
Please just let me
all of
keep
you.
this goddamn dagger.
Hear me.
Thank you. Where are we going?
I have need of a warrior.
Hi.
Only the most ruthless, cunning, and agile will do.
I don't know if that's me. I got beat up earlier today.
You have gathered here night after night, sacrificing fools.
Has
upon
it really
my
been
shrine,
that long? Did it
and
really take that
sorrowing
long?
Aimlessly with yourselves. But which among you
Why did the
truly
subtitles go
exceeds
away?
the rest?
I have audio
Prove
processing issues. Put the
yourselves
subtitles
to
back.
me. I have a special task for whichever of you is left standing.
Okay. Okay.
Somebody help!
Okay, it's murder time. Okay. Okay. We're gonna send out... Okay. Okay. I can do this. This is good. This is good. Alright, send out the flesh daddies. Go, my BDSM flesh daddies, killing my name. And then let's see if we can explode someone. It'll be funny. Okay. Alright, come on. Come on. Who wants to die? Who's first? Who's first? Come on. Come on. Come on. Who wants a piece of the Eve? Who wants a piece of the Eve? Okay, here. There we go. Perfect. Have you considered dying?
No one crosses me! That your best?
No! Fuck! I killed myself! Fuck! Fuck! I double tapped! I killed myself with blood magic! What? No! No! Don't hit me! Don't hit me! Skill issue! Kill yourself! Stop! That's my boyfriend, I can tell him that. He knows I'm beaming. But don't, it's not. Oh, okay, okay. No more. Just one more time. We did it once. We did it once. We can do it again. We can do it again. I have tears streaming down your face from laughter. I'm so happy I can give you an entertaining stream experience. I also have tears streaming down my face, but that's because I'm losing my marbles, but it's okay. I do it for you. My loyal gamers. I do it for you. Okay, come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Oh god, we gotta listen to our whole speech again. Okay, here.
If you wish to gain
Shut up.
Boethiah's
Okay, come on.
attention,
Come on.
you must
Oh yeah,
slay
look at
a
that hustle.
troll.
Look at that hustle. He's so excited to kill himself. Come on. Come here. Come here.
well-placed
Oh,
word,
he could
or
run
a
the pacer
well-placed
test. Look at him.
What do
Okay,
you
go. Use that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, yeah. Go on.
Okay, got it.
Go on. No. Perfect. Yes. 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 Now, the knife. Where's the knife? There we go. Okay, come here. Ha! Perfect. Okay. All right. Now we do the thing.
Ugh. You
We're
have
just gonna skip
tell
this.
me,
Skip the.
why have you slain this one? I
don't care. Let me kill everyone.
All of you.
Thank you. Okay. Is it
Hear
murder
me.
time? Okay. let me just listen. I know it's murder time. Let me just ready some spells real quick.
Of a warrior.
Just for no reason. Let me just do that. And you know what? Since I killed, you know what we're gonna do? Actually, just in case, just in case, we're gonna fucking quick save. Okay.
You have gathered here night after night, sacrificing fools upon my shrine, and sparring aimlessly with yourselves.
Oh, Berk is just blessing up. Okay, good for him.
But which among you truly exceeds the rest?
Okay, who wants to die? Who wants to die? Do you wanna die? You wanna die?
Prove
you wanna die?
yourselves to me.
You wanna die so bad.
I have a special task for whichever of you is left standing.
Watch what you're doing.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. And you know what? We'll use just a little blood spell as a treat, because this one I think is an AoE. Here. There we go. AoE damage. Ah! Give me your blood. Give me your blood. Heal me with your life force. Let me steal your life force to fuel mine. Okay.
Well done.
I think I got a little bit too into it, but that's okay. I think we did it.
Your tongue's gift for lies.
Yippee!
You have shown ferocity and prowess in combat.
No more evil, EB.
Now the time has
EB's
come
not
for a
evil
final
anymore.
proving. Are you able
EB's
to
normal.
cast aside
I'm
your
so
honor
normal and not
strike with the
mentally
hidden
ill.
blade?
What? I'll do honor is a coward's tool. That kind of goes hard. We'll go with that one.
An astute observation.
Like genuinely, like
Skyrim
heart
is a
palpitations,
beautiful
dude.
and harsh mistress, but her people cling to such a petty notion of honor. My previous champion displeases me. It is time he is replaced in the traditional fashion.
Okay, what do you want? I'll do it. Where can I find him?
You will find him holed up at
Knife Point Ridge. Great. Great.
Where he
Say no more. He's good as dead.
kill every single
You got it.
slave
Murder
and
everyone. Say no
once
more.
His corpse lays cold
Ebony mail,
upon the
love it.
ground.
I'm gonna eat it. I don't want to follow you though. Okay, does anyone got anything good, by the way? Oh, you guys all got blades of sacrifice. It would have been okay if I lost someone then. Okay. Let's see. We're gonna just see. I just want to see if any of them have anything good. Just so that way we're not missing any museum artifacts. I know we have one. We have the blade. But then we're also gonna need the... Can you get your ass out the way? God damn. I want to make sure we're not missing another one. Because I know we're getting the ebony mail, which is gonna be cool. Mark has a really good robe. Come here, Mark. Marcus. Let me steal your life force to fuel mine was kind of hot, actually. Thanks. I'll do it more often. He likes me when I get possessed by an eldritch being and start speaking in tongues. Where does his dead body go, by the way? Oh shit, I need that. There we go. Okay, I'm glad we came back up. Is there anything else over here? Where the fuck is Mark? Is Mark just gone? Oh, bye-bye, Mark. Bye-bye. No more Mark. No more Mark. But yeah, since there's the boots over there, I want to see if there's any other, like, armor set stuff, like, just kind of laying around, just hanging out over here. You know what I mean? Let's see. No, nothing over here. I think we checked all down there. There's not like any chests or anything. Oh, here's Marky. That's some cool. Oh, that. Oh, okay. It's still out. It's still out. Okay. That wasn't supposed to happen, but that's fine. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that off stream. The shroud. Where's the shroud? Let me see. So I got the boots. I have the knife. What am I missing? The shroud. Shroud, the shroud, the shroud. These big old fucking honkers. Goddamn. Where's the shroud? Priestess of Boethia. Yeah, they got all the other armor I have. There's the shield. But that's not a display. I'll take it because it's probably cool looking, but we don't really need it. I'm gonna go up one more time, do another look-see daisy. Then and ignore Marky's PP just hanging out over there. If you have immersive armors, maybe I don't have immersive armors. I like thought I did, but maybe I don't. We'll check one more time, but then yeah, maybe we don't. I don't remember. I'll be honest, anytime I like post something on, hey, you having a good time, bro?
How may I help
He's having a good time.
I'll
I'll be honest, anytime I like post a TikTok or something where people will be like, what mod? Can you give me the name of the mod? I have to go to Vortex and look it up because I genuinely don't remember everything that I have. Okay, let's go murder. Oh, stealthily. Stealthily. I don't know about that one, but I'll do my best, bestie. I'll do my darndest. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're at 850, I think, because the base collection's around 800, and then I've added 50 of my own. So we're getting up there, and I'm probably gonna get to a few more with our next playthrough. Next playthrough's probably gonna get to 875, maybe 900, because I have a problem. Any question? No. All right, let's just skedaddle over. We'll just travel to Felberg. Also, since we've had a lot of crashes today related to fast travel, for whatever reason, I'm just gonna quick save before we do this. There we go. Great. Let's see. Around 6:30, so I had the same issue when I'm asked. Yeah, I remember, like, with my Night Mother video, I did a video about the Night Mother being hot because we put tits on the Night Mother. A bunch of people were like, what mod? And I was like, oh, fuck. There's a few make the Night Mother sexy mods. Which is funny in itself, you know? It's like, oh yeah, I have the mod that gives the Night Mother big tits. Which one? Can we not spawn right in front of... Okay. Alright, anyway. Where are we going? This way? Yeah, alright. Let's be stealthily. I'm so stealthy. I'm so stealthy, bro. I'm the stealthiest, some might say, even. The real stealth shady. Okay, okay. Let me just skedaddly do over here. And then we'll get on the road, because I probably wouldn't get lost as often if I stick to the road, but that's okay. We already lost the road. That's fine. Everything's fine. And I think stealth-wise, we don't... I mean, we do have the big flesh daddies, but they'll despawn soon enough. Why is this gold? Not gold. Oh, it's a broken texture. Okay. So let's head over here. Oh, is that it? Shit. Okay, I think I need to summon... I mean, like... Does it have to be stealthy? It says stealthily, but, like, I don't know how stealthy a big shard of ice coming at you can be. I don't know how stealthy someone spontaneously combusting next to you can be. Like, I'll give it my darndest. I'll try, but, like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We're gonna, like I said, I'll hit him with my best shot. But we'll see what happens. It doesn't have to be stealthy. Good, because I already alerted them. Fantastic. Let's send the ladies out. Hello, ladies. There are some hot singles in your area. And by hot singles, I mean abominations from Oblivion, and they would love to see you tonight. All right, let's do blood boil and blood drain. There you go. All right, hopefully I won't. Oh, hi. Okay, that kills you. Cool. Oh, shit. Kill me. Perfect. Okay. None of these should have... Oh, we have a new Eldritch page. Hold on. Let me read that real quick, actually, because I keep forgetting about my favor with Hermaeus Mora. Yeah, it's 35. We need to be praying more. We need to be praying more. All right. Hello? You can just walk up and kill him? Thank God. Oh, I was hoping he'd spontaneously combust. Okay. Anyone else? Should be everyone. Well, not everyone, but at least all of them outside. Got some more archery. That's cool. Let's see. Anything good in here? Any goodies?
I love stealing things. It's very fun.
Okay. It only took us nearly 2 hours to complete the first quest of the night. You love to see it? Question mark. We did so good the last few Daedric streams. The last few Daedric streams, it's like, yeah, we're gonna do like 1 quest per hour, and it went perfectly. And now it's just like 2 hours for 1 quest. Yeah. Between no witnesses and no survivors exists for every protagonist. For Vanya, that Venn diagram is a circle. Yeah. No survivors. No witnesses. Oh, Vanya, you... That's the thing, though, right? Vanya's not a Mary Sue because her one weakness is being made of fucking tissue paper and getting her ass beat immediately. That's my quirky female character. She's just a... Oh my god, hi! Jesus Christ. Don't do that, bro. Okay. Anyway, oh, there's more. Shit, okay. I need to heal myself. Oh, fuck! Okay, hold on. I fucked it up. Can I just do one of these moves real quick? I fucked it up. It's fine. We're gonna let the ladies deal with it. Yeah, this is my OC Vanya. She is a blood mage who has committed several war crimes. But if you so much as punch her in the face, she will start crying immediately. She can dish it, but she cannot take it. Let's see. No displays over here. I'm just gonna check up here just in case, and then we'll head inside. I'll probably heal myself first too. Yeah, let's not accidentally kill myself, right? Both hands for the normal spells. We can't have a regular spell and a blood spell in one hand, because then we'll accidentally kill ourselves like we've done like 82 times, you know, but that's okay. That's the risk you take with blood magic. I don't know, there is a scene I have coming up for my book. I don't want to give too many spoilers of like how it happens, because I know a lot of you are reading my book, which I appreciate, by the way. Thank you for reading my book. But there is a scene where Vanya, when she does finally get to start learning magic officially, they have this whole thing of like, yeah, you have to be careful about casting too many spells right away. You have to like build up your endurance or else you'll hurt yourself. And she casts like 2 spells in a row and immediately fucking passes out. Which is on brand for her, you know? There we go. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, you would likely currently punch Vanya, but they likely wouldn't. You know, I want to say like she's a nice person. Why would you hit her? She's not a nice person. she's not a bad person. She's not a good person. She's what we like to call an anti-hero. And that's the word we use for her. Okay. I can't see anything. Can I get some fucking light? There we go. All right. That spell for some reason I can do, but the other one I can't. Vanya's made of sugar glass. Yeah. That sounds about right. Alright, come on. Oh, you're a bit bigger. Yeah. Don't hit me. There we go.
Damn wizard.
One more.
Keep your spells up.
Come on. God, I'm not doing as much damage as I want. We gotta get her a robe, TBH. Like, that's what we gotta do. We just need to find a sexy robe, and we haven't found one yet, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll find it eventually. See. Can we just murder everyone here? That'll be fun. That'd be cool. Cracks under the slightest pressure? Yes. She will, that's her defining character trait, is she will talk so much shit, and then, oh my god, no! No. Okay, I didn't expect him to be that hefty. I didn't expect that fireball to be that fucking hefty. Yeah. Bandit Marauder is not worth my time or energy. Yeah, keep telling yourself that, sweetheart. Oh, God. Okay, let's try this again. Let's try this again. We're just gonna reload. Okay, I'm losing my marbles in record time, might I add. But yeah, she'll talk shit about you, and then you talk shit about her, and she's like, hey, wait, you can't do that. I love her, though. She's a disaster of a human being, and deserves something. I don't know if it's good things, but probably something. Alright, let's see if we can just yeehaw our way through this. Call it a day. We got a painting at least. I'll take that, you know. Hi, Jingle! Welcome in, gamer. She talks so much shit only to get hit. Yeah, that's like her entire character arc. Does she ever learn to be nice people? I haven't decided yet, genuinely. If you want to read my book, it's time for me to shill. Just type !book, and there's 2 links where you can read it. I talked about this in Discord and on Twitter. I don't know if I talked about it here. I am actually rewriting the first 3 chapters, I think. Yeah, the 3rd one isn't gonna need as many rewrites. But basically when I first started writing the book, because they start off like in this orphanage, at first I had them as like starting age like 9, 10. And I decided I want my story to move a little bit quicker, so I instead retconned it, and by retcon I mean rewrote. So they're starting at like 15, 16. So like the genuine like events of the story aren't changing, but also dialogue for a 9-year-old and dialogue for a 15-year-old are very, very different. So I'm going back and rewriting a lot of dialogue. There's a few like interactions I'm rewriting, things that like I don't think were that I think could have had a little bit more like detail in them have been rewritten. We get more like oh fuck. Okay, we're good. But we get some more interactions with we get some more Freya focus scenes, because I feel like it was kind of light on Freya focus the first 2 chapters. I think it was not until chapter 4 that she got like her own. No, it was I think it was chapter 4 was the first time she got her own chapter. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, I need to stop yapping, because if I don't stop yapping, I'm going to fucking die. Okay, hold on. Focus. Alright, are my flame ladies doing okay? Are they handling it? Are you guys handling it? Oh no, genuinely. Okay, you know what? We'll hit him from the back with the flesh colossus. Bitches love flesh colossuses. Colossi? I don't fucking know. Hey, get her ass.
Nothing.
Oh, that's the one.
Victory
Okay.
is yours. I submit.
Perfect.
Ugh.
Perfect. Okay. Now. Oh, wait, no, that's not her. Okay, we still need to keep slaying some people. Okay. Let's see. Here, let's again get some candlelight. The lighting is too realistic and I can't fucking see anything. Let's head over here. Is there anything? I feel like there might be. Oh, hi. Would you like to not be alive anymore? Wrong button. Oh, he's still very much alive.
Lost,
Okay,
bro.
shit. Let's do blood drain. Where's he at? Oh, wrong spell. Okay, come on. Hit me. Come on. Ugh, it wouldn't let me move. Okay. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Let's see. That's my Atronach blowing up. Okay. We're good. We're good. Let's quick save just so we just. I forgot to change the quick save hotkey and now I'm fucking bald. You know, we'll quick save again so I can have my hair back. I guess just for good measure. I'll fix it one day. One of these days we'll fix it, but it's okay. Hello. Oh my God, it's Champion of Boethia. That's crazy. My favorite character. Okay. All right, you. Would you like some big, hot, burly men to assist you in, dying? Because that's all I got. Sorry. There we go. Oh yeah, he's actually getting mad fucked up. Okay, come on. Get her from behind with the flesh colossus. I think if someone got, anything from behind with the flesh colossus, if you're picking up my drift, I think they'd fucking die. Although there's a lot of monster fuckers out there. Maybe someone's brave enough. I don't know. Okay, Ebony. Okay, we need to watch out because I don't want a PP to pop out again. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, we have the set. Let's see if there's any other good shit in the thingy. But I think we should be good to go now. Let's see, miner's clothes. The Varla stones. I think that's it. Is that what you call it? I feel like the Ani would be a delicate pillow princess in bed because she'd break if you were too rough with her. Okay, so okay, I know we had the beginning of this stream. We're getting into info dumping about OC's territory. And you guys are egging me on and I love it. So like, way later on in the story when they are adults, Vanya does get a boyfriend. If you've watched my streams for a while, we actually did a playthrough with her boyfriend a while back, which I want to redo again because his playthrough was not like true to his character. His playthrough was just me ogling at hot women, so we had to make a different playthrough specifically for me to ogle at hot women. And that playthrough actually is his brother, so it's all connected. But basically, Vanya is like literally just like absolute fucking bitch. And her boyfriend is the sweetest cinnamon roll of a human being, genuinely. Oh, I need to equip the ebony mail. Okay, but the whole bit is her boyfriend is a druid, is a plant druid, and he is just so sweet. And one of the bits in the book is when she's being taught, you know, battle magic, because she needs to learn battle magic at some point. Not gonna say why. At one point, her mentor, and again, if you've read it, you probably know who I'm talking about.
You have done well, my champion. You have earned my respect. A feat few manage and live to tell about. I shall write your name upon the tablet of absolute darkness.
Oh.
You may keep my ebony mail, a token of my appreciation to my new champion. Its gifts will resonate with your talents.
Get back on. Whoopsie. Okay. Is that all?
Now go. I have strings to pull that require my full attention. You may pursue your own course wherever it leads you.
Cool. Well, thanks.
Remember always this. As you will it, so it shall be.
Love it. Thank you. Okay. Well, I feel very empowered by that. Thank you. But yeah, so way later in the book, which before I say this, going to specify when the characters are above the age of 18. She basically has this thing where her mentor knows her boyfriend, and he's like teaching her battle magic and shit like that, and he's basically her boyfriend's just kind of like hanging out there, and he's like, why don't you go up against Severin? Why don't you go up against Severin? And he's like, are you sure? Then I don't want to hurt her. And of course Vanya's like, well, you insist, I'll go easy on you. And he's like, okay, well, I'll do my best. And then he fucking kicks her ass. And he's like, I'm really sorry. Like, it's a really cute moment where he's like fucking doing, because Vanya's whole thing is like, he makes me pretty flowers with magic. He's so sweet. He's the florist. He wouldn't, you know, he can't be good at, you know, battle magic and combat. And then he's like doing all this shit, like choking her out with vines and throwing like thorns at her and basically like smoke bombing her. And she almost immediately gets fucking obliterated. That is the common theme with Vanya, is she never learns, like I said. But basically, the reason I bring that up, and I don't know if I'm gonna actually, hold on, let me kill this assassin. Let me boil your blood real quick. It needs to be boiled. There we go. There we go. I don't know if I'm gonna write this, because this might be too much. But basically, my headcanon, I don't know if I could use the word headcanon because they're my fucking characters, but I don't know if I'm actually gonna write it because it might be too cringe. Because like I said, I don't like writing sex scenes. I think, you know. But my headcanon is after that whole experience, she's like, she like goes up to him and is like, when we fought, that thing that you did, the vines, and he's like, I know, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. Like, are you okay? And then she's like, I want you to do it again. Like, that's my fucking headcanon. Is like, that like is like an awakening for her. But like, I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, I could probably include it because there's a whole like, yeah, it's a BDSM thing that's like vaguely hinted at, but it's also like it's not gonna be like shown, it's just implied. Like anything I would do would be like a fade to black. But like, I feel like it could like my whole thing is, it's like, I'm not gonna include it unless it has like a reason to be in there. Like if it doesn't advance the plot, then it's just me being horny, then what's the point, you know? I have my streaming for being horny, not my novel. But basically that is my thought. But that's the thing though, is like, I feel like I could make an argument for it because it's like her showing that for the first time in her life, she's willing to give control to someone else because she's a fucking control freak. So it's like, that's like part of it. She's finally like trusts someone enough to like let her guard down and you know, relinquish control. But she's also freaky. But that's my other headcanon, is Severin's like very, very, very sweet, very, very kind. But he's also kind of a fucking freak. So, okay, I need to transcribe the lexicon. What the fuck does that mean? By the way, it did take us 2 hours to do that first quest, so I don't know if we're getting to the Thieves Guild tonight, chat. what the fuck is transcribing the lexicon? Cause I don't know what that means, bestie. I think I have cleared this out. We're gonna just Google that real quick, cause I'm stupid. Cause I'm dumb. I don't want to wander around. Okay, transcribe the lexicon. The lexicon like a song. Cause that's the word transcribe a lot of times means like hearing music and then writing it down. You need to press the check. Okay, that's right. The Dwemer puzzle located deep in the Alftland ruins. Okay, we need to go into the ruin. We need to go into the building. Okay. But yeah, that's your daily OC lore dump for the day. I did plan on making some like TikToks, just bite-sized, like, hey, here's like the TLDR on my OC, so that way people don't have to read an entire book and listen to various info dumps throughout hours of streams to know what's going on. So let's see if we can get in the ruins, because I think it's Alfton that we need to go into. And then there's a puzzle inside. Cthulhu-chan! I fucking love that. Cthulhu! Welcome to the stream. You're not guessing Geeky Girl Boss. Thank you for the follow. We've just been yapping about original characters and trying to, well, earn favor of Daedric princes. So, you know, nothing too crazy. There we go. That's the pathway in. Because I feel like, didn't we... We did clear this. Because I remember doing this and then being like, what are we supposed to do again? Huh? And then it's like, oh, it's for a quest you don't have yet. And I was like, okay. And then I walked away. So, now we have a thing to do at least. Everything should have probably respawned by now. But if not, it shouldn't be too hard. If I cleared it once, I can most certainly do it again. Let's see. There we go. We'll skip on the building materials for now. Ooh, someone got a little freaky. Let me also put candlelight up here. I don't know. I remember I was talking about like the blood magic mechanics to David at one point. Like when I first started writing, and David literally told me, he's like, "You're not gonna do any weird like period shit with that, right?" And I was like, "No, I don't plan on it." And he's like, "Okay, just making sure."
Listen, have you met you? Because that question was not alright?
Listen, I don't think I'm a freak in my writing, just in every other aspect of my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see. Yeah, I think we just have to walk. Oh, something's over there. Oh shit, we don't have good magic. Let me get Firebolt out. There we go. I didn't consider that, but now that you said something. I mean, like, here's the thing. It's one of those things where it's like, hypothetically, she could. Am I going to write that in detail? No. I don't know. I've been thinking about, like, oh god, how do I get through here? Oh, I can climb through it? Okay, cool. Let me see. I know you have to be in third person for these things to work. There we go. There you go. You did a physical activity. Good job, bestie. I don't know. I have been thinking about doing, like, I've been participating in the Tavern Talk live dub on my friend AKL's channel, which a few of the voice actors are also in that are here. Hi, besties. But something that kind of like inspired me was doing that. And like at one point I kind of want to see if I can get people that'd be willing to do like a live like table read of the novel, but do shit like in character and stuff like that. I'd want to get like hi Equinox. But I'd want to get, oh shit, wait, you guys gotta hold on, I need to phone a friend. I'm afraid. Hold on, I'm afraid. Oh shit, hold on, we're about to hold the fuck on. Hold on, I'm about to die. But I kind of want to do like a live dub of the novel. I feel like that would be really, really cool, especially like with like some of the scenes in chapter 5. It's like, oh, I want to see them like voice acted by people. And I need to, the only thing I need to figure out is like, the only thing I worry about is we wouldn't have like a visual or anything for that. You know, like with the Tavern Talk live dub and other like live dubs I've seen people do, there's like the game behind them, right? I can't just like screenshot, or what's the word I'm looking for? I can't just like screen share a Word document, you know, but we could do like stuff with like the art. A lot of the chapters have art that accompanies them along with it, so like that could work. Let me VA your book, please. I'm down. We have a VA for Vanya already. Kina did Vanya in the lore video, and she fucking nailed it. I was so like, she literally was like, yeah, let me know if there's like anything you want me to change. Let me know if this is like good, you know, and I like listened to it, and I was like, oh my fucking god. Like, it was kind of like surreal, you know? It was like one of those things where it's like, I got low-key kind of emotional about it, because like, a lot of these OCs I've had, like, not in their exact form, but like in some sort of form since I was like 11 or 12, right? They've evolved over time, but I've had them for a very long time, you know? So like hearing someone like voice Vanya, an OC I've had since I was like 11, was like nutty, you know? I'm masked, so a masculine character would be preferred. Hell yeah. I need to figure out what the voice type for Kane would be. There's also Nurixie, my drunk alcoholic elf professor that I love dearly. I've also been thinking about doing a playthrough based on him because everyone loves the drunk alcoholic elf professor, which is like fair, you know. Just have a looping fireplace background. Honestly, that would work because my stream background kind of has that vibe actually. So that would work. So like now I'm thinking about it. I may want to wait until I've got all of Act 1 done, just because I don't know how long it would take. You know, and I don't want it to be like too long, but I don't want it to be too short per episode either. But I'm also worried, like, what if we get rolling and then it's like really fun and then we run out of shit and then I have to like, oh fuck, speed run writing shit. I don't know. I am hoping to do a lot more like world building and writing stuff here, and I said I wanted to do it during my debut as a goal. And I feel like I've kind of like, the first writing stream was a little scuffed, but the second one was really, really fun, and I really enjoyed it with you guys. So obviously we're still gonna play Skyrim, but we might do more world building streams because I'm now at a point, like, I was always, of course, enjoying my world and shit. But now I'm kind of hyper fixating on it. Not in like a like, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun way. I'm like hyper fixating on it in a like, I'm autistic and I can't stop thinking about this for 5 seconds ways. So we might do more stuff like that. We'll have to see. Hi Vader, welcome in gamer. So just having camera feeds of the VAs on your screen. Ooh, that would be cool. Yeah, I'm about to have character portraits for everyone. I'll have character portraits for everyone except Kane. And if you're wondering why Kane's getting the short end of the stick, don't think too hard about it. Oh, okay. So just have it, yeah, that could work. We could also just do like the Discord like Fugi thing, like the thing where people's like stuff like lights up, you know, when they talk. So I think it could be cool. But I have an art piece with all my OCs that I got commissioned, that I'm gonna be using for my Tale of the Tongues cover, and I'm really, really excited about it. Thank you, Vader. But yeah, so next week we are gonna have kind of a light stream week. Normally I stream Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but we're actually not going to be streaming this Thursday, because guess what? It's David's birthday on Thursday, so we're going to be celebrating.
My birthday is Wednesday.
On Wednesday! David's birthday is on Wednesday, and on a date. Fuck. David's birthday's on Wednesday. Just don't pay attention to the number of that date, and it's cool. But I'm not gonna be streaming on this Wednesday, just because me and my parents and David are all taking him out to a birthday dinner. Happy early birthday, David.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But thank you, chat, for the happy early birthdays to David. Can you stop holding that goddamn ward? Holy shit. How much? There we go. Alright, hit her from the back. Just gotta, get her weak spot. Yep. There we go. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do, actually? You may be able to ward my magic, but you can't ward a giant fucking fist.
Chat says happy birthday, David. Chat, David!
He can't hear me. He's locked into World of Warcraft.
David! Chat says happy birthday.
Thank you.
Mine's the 12th. Oh, happy early birthday, Morgan. But, yeah, we're gonna go out to eat somewhere for his birthday. And then, we're gonna go to the Renaissance Fair on Saturday. I'm really excited to go to the Renaissance Fair. So if any of you guys are in Maryland, if any of you guys are Maryland gang,
And you are going to the Maryland Renaissance Fair this Saturday. I will be there, and if you see me, feel free to come say hi, because I love the Renaissance Fair and I love meeting you guys. But yeah, so I feel like there's something else I wanted to tell you guys, but I can't remember what it is. But it looks like we are very close to transcribing the lexicon. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. This quest has been, so far, a lot easier than the other one. Oh my god. Okay, so, you know, we're just gonna... Oh boy. Okay, so he's hefty. Fire magic is gonna be the only thing that works. And, like, my flame bitches are doing damage. We just need to make sure, yeah, we hard focus him. Oh, that one girl is kiting like a absolute mad lad. Good for you, queen. Okay, there we go. Bye-bye. Looks like we have all these, which is good. No new displays. Time to transcribe that lexicon. I don't know why I felt the need to say it like that. Okay. What are you doing here? Why are you naked? Oh, I probably did that to you. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Wait, what? That's it, right? Transcribe the lexicon. Is that it? You sound like Sandy Cheeks. No. It did some. Oh, it opened this. Okay, I see. I might have the stupid. Whoopsie. Whoopsie daisy. All right, let me take a sip of water. Okay. Da, ba, ba. Ooh. I think I remember this area, but not I think I remember this area because I remember getting Rasha a girlfriend way back when in our first, like, Skyrim immersive playthrough. And then I immediately fucking died. That was my memory of that one. So, you know, oh, hi. Yeah, we're gonna have to use a lot of flame ladies today, just because, this might be shocking. Blood magic does not work on creatures that do not have blood, which is a little annoying, but, you know, we manage. We manage. Welcome to Blackreach, the worst area in the game. Yeah, it killed my girlfriend. Blackreach killed my girlfriend, and I don't like it. Did I get lost here? I think I got lost here at one point. Yeah, I think I remember doing this quest and trying to figure it out before I was ready, and I got lost, and I got really pissed off about it. Like, I vaguely remember that. Okay. She trans on my scribe to, like, lexicon. All right, let's go. Dragon down here as well. How the fuck do you fit? Well, actually, it does make sense for you to fit a dragon down here, but still. All right, let's see. There's gonna be more here. Let's get a candlelight going. Just because I can't see anything. And then we shouldn't be too hard to find. We need to just find a path up, clearly. Have fun locating shit here. Yeah, I very clearly remember getting lost here. Not once, not twice, but several times. So, you know, we'll hope. We'll pray. Will much come of it? Maybe. We'll see. Oh my god, he died ass out. Goddamn. Okay. Thank you, Vader. Let me see. Hello? There's a farmer over there. Peekaboo? Fitting one isn't the issue. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, how to get there? How to get there in the first place, bro? Shows up when you hit the artificial sun. Thank you, artificial sun. Very cool. Alright, let's see. That's where I want to go. Okay. Hi. Ooh. Pretty. I really like the artificial sun. It's like calling to me. I love me a good orb. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always a slut for a good orb. Look at that orb. Hell yeah. I mean, is the orb where I'm supposed to go? Because I don't think it is, but I want to go there. He's calling me, bro. Like I'm a fucking moth to a fluorescent light bulb. Alright, let's see. Hello? Oh, who are you? Wait. Hello? Oh! Oh my god, it's Falmer's servant. That's crazy. Damn. Don't go to the light. Listen. I'm gonna ponder my orb so hard. I love pondering my fucking orb with the lads. Alright, the flame ladies are handling some of them. Ooh, Crimson Nerd Room. Very cool. Hi. There we go. Okay, not too bad. Oh, shit. Hi. There we go. Yeah, at least I do enough damage. We've read that. Oh, Jesus Christ, they don't stop coming. There you go. One more.
Thank you for being dead. Anyone else? What's behind this door? Debate hall. Ooh. We don't need to go in there, so I don't feel like checking it out right now, particularly. But we might check it out later. I kind of want to just see, I'm like trying really hard to stay on track just because I know how hard we got off track last time and how hard we got lost, and I don't want to do that again. Okay. There we go. Mr. Lexicon, I'd like to transcribe you. Please. Lexicon. Oh, shit. Okay. We gotta do a walkie. Let me actually get long stride out because I don't feel like... I want to hustle. I kind of want to hustle, okay? We gotta huddle up, alright? Okay. Whee! So it should be right through there. Is that like an elevator or something? Oh no, there's a door over there. Okay, so that should be it. This unique dragon needed for the museum, by the way. Oh. Where is he? I don't see him right now, but maybe it's like further in? I don't know. If we need him for the museum, then like, whoa, you know? Hi. Tower of... Okay, hold on. I remember this. I remember this now. I think this is where I got lost. The dragon is in the sun. Okay, so let me see. I do remember this, I think. Because I think what happened is I went over here and it fucked up the quest markers and I couldn't find it. So I do want to see... Let me read this. Transcribe the lexicon. Doesn't care about the scrolls. Says one who used some kind of machine in there to inside. Describe a dwarven lexicon with the scroll's knowledge and bring it to him. So I don't think I need to actually go in there. Kind of want to ponder the orb real quick though. Like, kind of feel like pondering my orb, if you know what I mean. That wasn't an innuendo. I don't know what I meant with that. How did the dragon get down to Blackreach? How did the giant get down as well? They took a slip and slide. Y'all remember slip and slides? Holy shit. I remember one time I went to a camp and, oh wait, here's the orb. Hi! And they didn't have like the slip and slide you buy like at the store like you get at Walmart. They just took a giant tarp, drenched it in water, and just put soap on it. And it was fun. It was kind of dangerous in hindsight, but it was fun as fuck. I want to go on a slip and slide again. Although I did go on a water slide one time, and it was such an intense water slide, my swimsuit like got sucked into my asshole, and it traumatized me. I was like 11. And ever since then, I've been like afraid of like really tall waterfall or water slides. Let me save real quick, and then we'll try to get this dragon. All right. Let's see. Hi.
Fus Roda.
Whoa. Hello. Let's get this out as well. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's level 50. What fucking level are we? 34. Okay. Where is he? Where's he coming? There he is. Okay. Oh shit. You gotta follow him, I guess. Is he gonna come back here? Oh wait, hold on. I have Dragon Rend, don't I? Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. I forgot I had Dragon Rend. Goddamn. Where'd he go? Oh, he has landed. Okay, perfect. All right, you just stay. You stay. Whoop! Whew! You stay right there, bestie. You stay right over there. And then I think... I don't know if I want to do blood magic right away, because I don't know how hard these are gonna hit. You know? Okay, well, I guess we have no choice while, there we go. While our magicka regens. Okay. Alright, if he tries to fly away, we're casting Dragon Rend, and then we should be okay. Alright, as soon as that one goes down, actually, yeah, spawn another one right there. We're just gonna keep throwing drain health at him. Okay, my other summons are with him too, so we should be fine. Hi, Nighthawk! Welcome in, gamer! I'm trying to kill this dragon that got underground, and I don't know why, but he's important, apparently. He came from an orb? Oh! Oh, I know about Action Park. Oh, I watched a Defunct Land video on that. It was so good. I love Action Park. Well, I don't love Action Park for like class action lawsuit reasons, but like research reasons. Just wanted to clarify that. Yeah, this actually isn't too bad when you have like 8 billion summons. Yeah, not too bad. All right, we'll just blood boil then. There we go. That didn't heal me at all though. Yeah, we're getting the damage done. And then he should go down. There we go. Okay, cool. Not too bad. Alright, scales of... Okay, yeah, I remember that. The heart, and then I don't think... Well, we'll take the bones and the scales just because we might need them for the display in the Hall of Natural Science. So, remind me when we get back to the museum to go to the Hall of Natural Science. Now we need to figure out how to transcribe this fucking lexicon. So, let's see... oh, I got the Dragon Hunter achievement. Thank you, Steve. I do want to Google it, just because I got so fucking stuck on it last time, dude. Let's see. Where's the transcribe the what was it? Discerning the Mundane walkthrough. Okay, blank lexicon. Find the Elder Scroll. Fill the blank lexicon. Alfden, be prepared. Alfden is extensive Dwemer ruin occupied by Falmer and Dwemer contracts and clearing centurions. Once there, travel through the ruin following your destination marker until you reach Blackreach. Okay, here we go. A massive underground cavern below Alfden. Alternatively, if you do not feel your level or equipment are significant to penetrate Alfden, why we gotta use the word penetrate? It's actually necessary to do so. Both access Blackreach as long as the player is in attunement sphere. You'll have access to a Dwemer lift to travel between Blackreach and the surface in case you want to make a trip back to town before delving further underground. Follow the quest marker through Blackreach until you reach your destination, the Tower of Mizark. Okay, we do need to go to the Tower of Mizark. Okay. I think I know what we need to do. So I think that's what it was. Is last time I tried to complete this quest, but I didn't have the necessary items. Now I do. So we do need to go over here, and we should be okay. But we do need to go in the Tower of Mizark. I think I just got turned around in there sometimes, or somehow. I live near a public pool with awesome water slides. That's awesome. We thought about getting pool passes with our apartment this year. But we ended up deciding against it just because it's like, we just never think about it, you know? And I'm like, I don't know. I am excited to go in a pool when I go on my cruise. So I'm going on a cruise in November and I'm super excited. So hopefully I'll get to pool there. It's not one of the like newer boats, like the boats that have water slides on them, or at least I don't think it has a water slide on it. It's kind of an older boat, but I'm excited just to boat, TBH. Like, I've never been on a cruise ship before, so I'm excited to see if I like it. You know, me and David like found like a flash sale for it, and it was like 4 days in the Bahamas, like for $500, and it was like, fuck yeah. Cause like the thing is it's like that's your food, that's your hotel. Like usually your hotel alone's like $500 for 4 days. So we got that deal. We were like, goddamn. And we're going in November, and I'm really excited. I'll have to tell you guys all about it. I don't think I'll be able to have internet there, because I'm gonna be in the, not America. But, I'll tell you guys all about it when I get back. Okay, let me see. What was the order for the buttons? I gotta know the buttons. That's cheap as hell. It is a Carnival cruise. Gotta be a nice boat, though. Otherwise, it can suck. I've read, like, really mixed things about it. Like, most of the reviews about the boat I'm going on are really good. So I'm just reading to make sure I know how to press the button so I don't fuck this up. Press the second button from the right 4 times. Here, let me do this real quick. And then I'll talk about boat. Because I know if I fuck this up, it's going to drive me insane. Okay. Am I cheating? Yes. Do I care? No. Okay, second button from the... Hold on. Second button from the right 4 times. Pausing between each to allow the oscillatory to do its thingy-majig. Okay, so from the right... Maybe I have to do this first? Oh. Nope. Wait, what? Huh? Wait. You have the Lexicon Deceptimus. Oh. Well, oh. Well. Okay then. That works. The Bahamas is in America? Oh! God damn it. Maybe I have to remember, but I know my parents said something about like turn your phone off. We don't want to pay for international shit because it gets really expensive. So maybe my parents also do not know. I guess I'm done. Shit. Okay. We'll skedaddly do it then, I suppose. I guess maybe I already did this and then I just forgot to take the box back and that's what fucked me up. Which is hilarious, by the way, but... Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll go see Septimus. Where the fuck is Septimus? All the way over there. Love it. Well, no, I think we have a fast travel to there, so that should be fine. Get me back up! It's because it's on the water. Oh, that's right. But yeah. You need the scroll for Dragon Rend? I think I have the scroll. Yeah, I have the scroll. So I think we should be all Gucci. Let me see. How do I get out of here? I think that's where I got mixed up last time. Is I didn't know how to leave. So I think what we're gonna do is, and we're gonna save before we do this because this is really buggy, but we're gonna try because I'm lazy. And I kind of am just like, what is the command for? What is the command for teleport? Just get me out of the thing. Well, actually, I don't think I can teleport from here. No. Okay, because I never remember the command for this one. Teleport, Skyrim, command. Let's see, COC location. So we're just gonna go COC, and then we'll do, I don't know, Riverwood. Yeah, we'll do that. Just because it's the first one that came to my brain. There's like 3 locations to leave, 5 if you open the back doors. I don't feel like finding them, but welcome in Civilian. We're just gonna do, fuck, Steam overlay. Ooh, there we go. Riverwood. And if this crashes my game, then it's the game telling me to get off my ass. If it doesn't though, then I'm allowed to be a goober. And I'm allowed to be a silly little goblin child. Yay! Oh. Okay, let's go to Septimus Cygnus and see what the fuck is up. Now that we have transcribed the lexicon. She trans on my scribe till I lexicon. Okay. Hello! Hello, Mr. Crazy Man. I'm here to see you. I have something for you. You leave it one of the lifts, there are a few, and you can also use Realm of Lorcan teleport. Ooh, I didn't know that. Okay, well now we know for next time. Alright. Hi, Bestie. Hi, Pookie. Bonk!
Dwemer, when
Hey.
the top level was built,
Oh, hold on. Let me
no more
turn a
could be
fucking light
placed.
on. Hold up.
It was and
There you go.
is the maximal apex.
That's
How
cool.
long will it be sung?
I've
My
transcribed
feet will set
I've
upon
inscribed the
rock.
lexicon.
Give it quickly.
There you go.
Extraordinary. I see it now. The ceiling structure interlocks in the tiniest fractals. Dwemer blood can loose the hooks, but none alive remain to bear it. A panoply of their brethren could gather to form a facsimile.
Facsimile? Sounds like a
Something
fun
they
word
did
to
not
say.
anticipate.
Facsimile.
No, not even them.
Oh.
The blood of Altmer, Bosmer, Dunmer, Falmer, and Orsimer. The elves still living provide the key. Bear you hence this extract.
Okay, so we need to get some
It will
elf
drink
blood,
the
I guess.
fresh blood of elves. Come when its set is complete.
Alright. So we need why are you so eager to open the box?
Ah, the box contains the heart.
Is there like specific
Ah,
people we need to
the
go kill, or is it
essence
just like
of a
any
god.
fucking elf we can find?
I have devoted my life to the Elder Scrolls, but their knowledge is a passing awareness when compared to the encompassing mind of divinity. The Dwemer were the last
Any, I think? Okay, cool.
It
That shouldn't be
was
too
thought
hard. We
have
just have to
been
find people to
destroyed by the
murder.
Nerevarine,
Which,
but my lord
sometimes-
told me otherwise.
Which has proven to be very
The Daedric
difficult
Prince
this
of the
stream.
Unknown,
So, you
Hermaeus
know.
Mora. I thought there were no
Oh my God, that's my
secrets left
dad.
to know until I first spoke to him.
My dad!
He asks a price to work his will. A few murders,
I can do that.
some dissent spread, a plague or two. For the secrets I can endure.
Okay.
In time, he brought me here to the box.
One of each.
But
okay.
he won't reveal how to open it. maddening.
Well, we're gonna go, get that blood, I suppose. Is there any books here I can steal, by the way? I think I stole all of them, but just want to double check. Oh. Let me grab that real quick. Okay. Cool. Okay. All the rest of these we have, so it should be good. Let me figure out this way to get out of here. Here we go. There's our ramp. So I think we're gonna, once we get out here, we're gonna take a break real quick, just because I'm out of water and I have to pee. And then, oh.
Come closer, back
That's my dad!
in my presence.
Hi!
I am Hermaeus Mora. I am the guardian of the unseen, a knower of the unknown. I have been watching you, mortal.
Hi!
Most impressive.
What do you want me to do?
Your continuing aid to Septimus renders him increasingly obsolete. He has served me well, but his time is nearing
why are you
its
touching
end.
me? Wait, hold on.
Once that infernal lockbox is opened, he will have exhausted his usefulness to me. When that time comes, you shall take his place as my emissary. What say you?
Okay. Sure.
Indeed. Speak with me when the box has been opened, and all shall be revealed.
I deserve tentacle head pads. Thanks, Dad. Okay, well, cool. All right, let's see. We'll skedaddle over here, and then we're gonna take a break real quick, and then we'll be back, and then we'll finish the. Well, I don't know how long this quest is gonna be, but we're gonna find out. So let me tab. I'm gonna run an ad. We're gonna do 3 minutes. So if you've been watching the stream since the beginning of the stream, please go grab a snack, go grab some water, take your meds if you haven't already, and use the bathroom if you need to. But we're gonna do just like a 3-minute ad break just so I can go get some water and go pee. All right, I'll be back. Press that button, press this button, and then press this button. Yeah. Hello. Alrighty, it's gaming time. Let's go transmune some mundanes. Okay. Let's see. Well, now we just have to kill people, actually. Okay. Where do we start? Where do we start with murder? Well, let's see. I think there was a, let me see. Okay. So there's a lot of places where we can find the different bodies, apparently. Some of them we would have been able to find it often, so we might be able to... They might be gone by then, though. Because we didn't follow the suggested route. We were a little lazy bitch baby. Which isn't off brand, but we can find a lot of them in Liar's Retreat. I think we've been there before. Where is that? That is, if you on the map. I think I see. Right by... Is that actually? Hold on, I'm trying to look at the map, but it's all zoomed in. Maybe we haven't been there before. By Dragon Bridge, right? Yeah. Okay. We're gonna head to... We're actually gonna also try heading to a few bandit camps and see if that helps. Okay. Let's check our map, and then we should be good to go. But a lot of like the little bandit camps will be good. So, I think Dragon Bridge is over here, right? Yeah, or somewhere over here. I don't remember. I don't know if we actually have the token for Dragon's Reach unlocked yet. Actually, not Dragon's Reach, Dragon Bridge. Okay, we don't. So that does make things a little bit more difficult. I'm sure we can find just like just any bandit camp really. Ideally one we haven't cleared. But if we need to, we can. I mean, yeah, because once you've cleared it, I don't think it respawns. Forgotten Ruins. Let's see. Burial Cave. Seviana's house. I don't remember who the fuck that is. Gonna be real with you. Golden Hills. Altar of Hirsine. Knife Point Ridge. This would be way easier if we had the Dark Brotherhood stuff going on, because we could just take fucking contracts. Let's head over to Moss Creek Camp. And we're just gonna have to start murdering people. That's been a common theme of this stream, is just Evie fucking murders everyone. And then gets sad when things don't go her way. That's been... Oh, perfect! Oh my god, this is fantastic. Oh, wait, are any of you guys elves? Oh, shit. Hold on. Maybe not as perfect as I thought, but that's okay. There we go. Come on. Oh, they're hollering. Okay. Got any blood for me? Got any... Why is there just a wolf pelt here? I probably dropped it or something. No blood over there. Let's see. There's more people over there. Hold on. Hello? Yeah, that's just a guy. The lockpick. Anyone who's like an elf wants to be not alive anymore? Please? I think it would be cool if you died. Alright, let's take these real quick. It's still something. And then there were some people over here, so there might be some more bodies over here. I know, I don't think we've explored Pine Wash. We're kind of just gonna wander around and hope that, people come our way. Ooh, Lessons of the Dead. We are Legions of the Dead. We don't have that one. Potion Cure Disease we'll take. Any of you guys, elves? Here we go. Oh wait, I need the extractor. That's what it is. What's the fucking... I just use it on people? How does that work? Do I have to kill them? Is that what it is? I can't just go find dead bodies? Because that would make sense. They might be, like, out of blood by now. You know? Let me see. Steel plate armor. Silver ring. Lots of money, though. I like money. When you interact with an elf, it gives a prompt to draw blood. Okay, let's see. Because we have the orc over here, but okay. Let's head over to Pine Watch and see. And when you say interact, do you mean like loot or just like talking to them? Can I just talk to random people and be like, hey, can I have your blood? It's for science. It's for an experiment. It's for research purposes. Oh my god, hello? Hello? Hello. Hi. What happened to hello? What happened to how are you? What the fuck? Hold on. Both of you guys can skedaddle. Get out of here. Oh my god. Okay. I think it has to be looting a dead body. Oh, okay. Let's see. Are any of you guys elves? Would any of you guys like to die? What's going on over there? I'm hearing something. What's that noise? I don't know what the fuck that is. Okay. Something down there over there. There's like a bandit thing. Bandits would be like perfect in this scenario. I'm just gonna ignore that sound because look at those rays, by the way. Holy shit. Wait, that's really pretty. Can we have a photo shoot moment? Just not even with Vanya, even just. That's pretty. Okay. Let me. Oh, fuck. Can I have my menu back? There we go. There we go. Okay. Now there's people over here, so maybe. Hi. I need your blood. You're a bandit camper through. There's dead dark elf and one of them. Fuck yeah. Hi. Can I borrow that? And by that, I mean your blood and flesh. It's important. I need it for science. No, that's a person. That's a human. Okay, don't shoot me. There we go. Wait, are you human? That one, Moss Creek Camp. I don't know that one. That's an Eldritch page, but we've read it before. Blood apparently doesn't need to be fresh. Perfect. What are you? What's going on with you guys?
Help. Help me.
Wait,
please. Take this.
What?
Keep it safe.
Never should have come here.
What the fuck? I mean, okay, this works. This works. I suppose. Why is the Morag Tong after me? What the fuck did I do now? What the fuck did I do now? Oh shit. Okay. Welcome back, gamers. My name's EB Game, and I'm being chased by the Morag Tong. Yippee! I don't know what the fuck I did. I don't know what the fuck I did. I don't know what the fuck I did, and I'm not regenerating as much health as I want to. Well, I'm kinda, but it's okay. Alright, die. God, they're hefty. I do need to find my followers. Did one else? Yeah, well. I've been sent a blessing, I guess. Okay, a lot of good arrows. Don't see any. Here, let me see. Grab the hood. What are you? Not an elf, I guess. Okay. Well, there should be more over here. Let's see where their bodies are. Oh, you're not having a great time, are you? Okay. See if we can. Will this do more damage? Nothing does damage. Great. Okay. Well, it's not that it's not doing damage. It's not doing enough damage for me to be happy. There we go. I'm trying to do this just because it's AoE. Well, it doesn't help if I miss it. You know what? Some of these. Some of these. Great. Let's see. Any other dead bodies around here? I can't even search the original guy. Hold on, let me search the original guy. This guy. Bloodstained letter. Okay. Yeah, my summons are still going strong. Okay, we're gonna deal with these guys. These fellas. And then we're gonna see what happens. The blood boil even doesn't do anything. Okay. Oh, he combusted. Okay, it did something. God, I love when people combust. Blood puddle. Wait, hold on. God, it's kind of hard to search him when he's... I saw a little thing that said blood puddle. Hold on. Let me put you back over here just to get these out of the way. Okay, there we go. It said, like, blood puddle or something. Oh. I could have sworn I saw that. I'm not crazy. Glass mace. Hey, I'll take that. Fuck, I'm carrying too much to run. What can I get rid of? Let's see. I don't think we need... I think we do actually need the Great Welkin Stone. It's for something. We don't need 2 arms. We don't need 2 arm bones right now. And we don't need a rib cage. We can drop one of our rib cages. We don't need the silver ingot. We do need that. We do need the skulls. I don't know why I have 2 black stars for some reason. Should be good for now. I saw it though. I'm not crazy. Like there was something that said blood puddle, and I tried to interact with it. Maybe it was for something else, but like, are you telling me none of these were fucking elves? That's actually infuriating. Okay. I swear there was another dead body. Although I think I did get both of them. One of them combusted. All right, let's read this letter. Oh boy. Okay. The hope of the Empire. Bro, could you not have gotten like a little bit less blood on it? I can't read it. I gotta squint. I'm not wearing my glasses in real life. The hope of the Empire and that of Mundus itself flies in part in your hands, good Byron. I fear that even now our enemies prime their machinations against us, but these shards cannot fall into their hands. Reforming the Kimmel Ababal is of the utmost importance if the rumors are true. Guard this shard well, and may Akatosh protect you. Guardian Theros. Okay, well that's cool. Well, we have something to talk to Arian about. I did not get any elf blood, which is really unfortunate. But it's fine, I guess. It's cool. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to find more people to murder then. We do have this other quest. I guess we'll just start walking and hope we come across some elves. I mean, we are close to... Oh, shit. We are close to a lot of bandit camps, and we are close to fog. Let's head this way. Have we seen Peak Shade Tower? That doesn't sound familiar. Okay, no, we have. Let's just head this direction and see if we can find some more elves. I'm a little upsetty spaghetti that we got none of them, but is what it is, you know. So let me see. Yeah, it doesn't say. Orc. Yeah, and orc blood was one of them. I was 90% sure one of them was orc. Okay. Hopefully we can find some more people though. Hello, people. If we need to just like murder a random Thalmor patrol though, I'm not above that. TBH. Is this clear? I think it is. We'll see. I don't think there's anyone up here, but always worth checking, you know. Can I pickpocket people's blood? Can I like sneak into people's houses and like steal their blood? Oh, that's okay. I don't need that negative energy in my life, actually. Well, no, you're not super. God fucking damn it! I'm glad I just quick saved. I double clicked the wrong button for my summons. Okay. Well, where's it gonna put me? Maybe it'll put me in a place with more elves or some shit. Where are you putting me? Where am I waking up? I return. Yeah, I itch to return to Peak Shade Tower. Where the fuck am I? I have a lot of shit. Actually, we're in Anga's Mill. Huh.
I've been looking for you.
Oh, jeez.
I've got a letter.
Letter for my inheritance.
Looks like that's it.
Oh, shit.
Got to go.
Who the fuck died? What was that? It was me double-clicking my blood spell. Instead of my conjuration spell. It's one of the last spells in LOT or quests in LOTD. Ooh, yeah, because after that, then it's just Tari's death. I can't see all the other ones, but apparently a lot of people I know are dying, so that's not good. Is there a legacy drop box around here? Because that would be great.
I don't need to talk to you. Get lost.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of elves around here. Let me, because I would like to.
Always something going wrong.
There we go, perfect. No, not around here. But that's the thing, if we can go to a hold and then drop some stuff off, that would be good, but... Are you an it since... Yeah, since he's a fire dragon. That ice spike or ice spear? Let's do icy spear. It takes up a shit ton. Oh, yep. I'll just keep doing this one then. Because it doesn't take much. We can just spam it. Maybe we'll get some good hits in. Maybe we won't. Who cares? Alright, we do still have Dragon Red though. We really need to come down. What about the Thalmor Embassy? Ooh, that's a good idea. Okay, actually, yeah. We'll go to the Thalmor Embassy and then we'll just start blasting. I need you. Oh boy. I need to back up, but I'm too heavy. I'm too thick. Okay, pull up. Pull up, my fucking summons. Help me. I think I'm holding them off though. We're holding them off. Come on. Okay. Alright. I need my fast boy move back. We need to find a fucking lockbox. Oh, and his heart is important. Okay, and we'll take these because we're probably gonna need them. Okay, I am over cucumbered. There's no legacy drop box around there. How much? Okay, we're really over cucumbered. They're cool, but we don't need them. Let's see. Anything we don't need, no matter how good it is, it's gotta go. I know, I hate it, but it's gotta go. Because we just don't have the room. We don't have the fucking for it, you know? And I think all our displays are, like, our personal displays are full anyway, so, you know. Okay, let's head to the Thalmor Embassy, and we'll see, do we have the Thalmor Embassy unlocked yet, actually? I think we do, I just have to remember where it is. Let's see. Find location. Thalmor Embassy? Can I just go in there and start blasting? Yeah, I can. Okay. Hey. Hi. And we're close to the museum. Okay, we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Perfect. You love to see it. Okay. Hi. Oh. A little bit late, but that's okay. Alright, we're breaking and entering. We are getting that high elf blood, at the very least. So help me God. Over there? Perfect. I'm coming in with a goddamn vengeance. And we're gonna just...
The world's gone mad with sorcery now.
You're nothing to me. We're gonna need... Yeah, put your fucking shieldy wieldy down. Oh, shit. They are all coming for me. Okay. They're all really weak, though, which is good. Okay. This should work. Where's your blood? What the fuck? Where's their blood? The blood! The blood! I need their blood! How do I get it? Oh! Oh! Okay, here we go. High elf blood. These are all high elf. I see now. Okay, you have to actually search them. That makes sense. Okay, that makes more sense. I get it now. Okay, is there gonna be... I don't think there's gonna be any non-high elves here. So we're just gonna skedaddle, okay? We're just gonna skedaddle. Oh, fuck. And then hopefully we can find the other ones. Now I know. So you probably could have gotten some from the others. God damn it. You live and you learn. We're gonna just skedaddly do, and then we're gonna fast travel to Solitude. We're not done, but we are very much over cucumbered, and we can get some displays in. I don't know, we might... I did want to finish this quest. We might have to hold it for next time, because we took so long with the other one, and it's starting to get late. So we'll have to see. I think we'll... yeah, I think we'll save this for next time, just because, let's see. Oh god, they're still around. Oh god, no, there's wolves. Just because it is getting late and your girl has to work in the morning. Oh wait, no, that's a rabbit. I just killed an innocent creature. God damn it. So let's go. We're not ending quite yet, but we're just gonna fast travel and unload our toad. And then hit it bright and early next stream with the blood collecting. I don't think we don't know how to weed them out. So let's see what we got. We'll see how many displays we have. And then we have quite a few displays to build, I think, as well. So let's see. Let's see how much we got with everything. And we'll see where we're at. So let me... Hello, Dragonborn Gallery, my love. Hello. We do have to ask Aryan about something, which is good. You can see which ones you have in your task. Yeah, I think we need Orc blood, Falmer blood, Dark Elf blood, Wood Elf blood. But we've got the High Elf blood, if nothing else. So there's that. Aryan, where are you, bestie? Oh, he's asleep. I won't wake him right now. We'll get our sorting done. We'll build some stuff, which should be good. So let's see. Hi. How many displayable things do we have? 10 new displays. We're almost at 600. Okay. Let's head to the Hall of Natural Science. I don't have any shipments, do I? No. Let's see if we can build any replicas real quick. Add supplies. I'm not worried about that. And then that we have. We have the actual black star in there, I think. And I thought we had the Archmage robes. 2 dwarven metal ingot, 2 ebony ingot. Okay, so there are a few things we need. We need a lot of ebony ingots and and we also need some goat horns. So we'll have to keep that in mind. But I think there is some other stuff we can build, at least we can get some of the dragons, you know? So let's see, here we go. Let's go to the Hall of Natural Science. And I don't think that's gonna get us to 600, but we're certainly getting close. What time is it? 2:14 a.m. Yeah, that makes sense. It's the East Exhibit Hall. Let's see. Yeah, I also need to take my meds. I took my weight loss med, and I took my my ADHD med, but I forgot one of my other meds that I need to take. I forgot. But better late than never. Oh yeah! I started talking about this the other stream. I was telling you guys, I don't remember. I think it was actually last SKYRIM Sunday. I was talking about how, oh my gosh! Oh no! Hello, cutie! Hello! Oh my gosh, my voice is giving out. Oh, I feel bad. We were about to end. Oh no! Oh no! Well, now we gotta keep collecting blood. Hello, everybody! Welcome in, gamers. My voice is still like, ooh, because I was screaming earlier. But this is great. Thank you so much for the follow. I guess I can keep growing. Let me take a sip of water. If a mod could shout out Kiri, I would appreciate it. But welcome in, gamers. If you are new in town, hi, my name is EB Games. I like to play Skyrim a lot. And I like to talk about my OCs a lot. So, welcome in. How's your stream, Kiri? What did you play? We are currently doing a Legacy of the Dragonborn playthrough with our Blood Mage character, Miss Vanya. She is the it girl. She is serving cunt. And we are putting up some displays. Like I said, this is a museum theme. JC, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I guess I get Girl Boss. So we have some paintings we have to display. 1, 2. Do we have another one? Oh shit, I didn't mean to put that one down. Any more paintings? No. But we're definitely starting to fill it up with art very quickly. It was good. Was working on my VTuber software again. Hell yeah, gamer! When you have that done, I'm gonna be hitting you up. But we are currently filling up some displays. We are hoping to get some more dioramas of some aminals in our museum in the Hall of Natural Science, if I can remember where the fuck it is. And then we are going to, oh god, it's fucking dark in here, hold up. And then we are actually on a mission because we are trying to get every Daedra quest done. If you're a Skyrim fan, you might realize I really like Daedra. My model is based off of Hermaeus Mora. But we are trying currently to do all the Daedra quests, and we currently are doing Hermaeus Mora's quest actually, and we need to steal blood. So we are gonna be going on a blood hunt after this. So we were thinking about calling it for tonight, but since you are all here, spending time with me, we are going to go steal people's blood for you. Mwah. I'm going to commit atrocities for you. Mwah! Okay. Where the fuck? Do we have that one? Where's the? Yeah. Okay. So we killed some dragons. So I think we can display some dragons. Look at my little fishies. Aren't they so cute? Ah! Okay. Let's see. This one I'll do from inventory. Do we have stuff from storage? No. Elder dragon, I don't think we have. I know we have some of the dragons, but not this one? No. No. I thought we had some of them. Maybe it's these ones? I know we have some of the funky dragons. I just can't remember which ones. This one? I think it was this one. What the fuck? I did have it. One dragon bone. Don't I have the... What are the skills I have? Oh, well, thank you so much for the raid, Kira. I hope you have a good night, gamer. Thank you so much for bringing your community to me. I appreciate it. But have a good rest, gamer. All right. Yeah, we have bro's scale. Do we have dragon bone? Where the fuck did my dragon bone go? Storage. I literally remember stealing bones. What happened to my bones? Oh, well, we have the frost drill display now, so that's cool. We have the goat one. 2 goat hides. What the fuck? Still need the cow one. We need the horse one. Well, we have the horse one. We need the chicken one. Let's see. I thought, oh, hi, random ghost man that wanders the night. Good to see you. These we have. Those are frostbite spiders and our choruses, however the fuck you pronounce them. Our horkers and our mud crabs, the frozen beast of Skyrim. We have our bear and our saber cat dueling it out. We've got elks and wolves. I don't know why the fuck it thinks where would dragon bones go? Miscellaneous? No. I know I stole some bones. I steal bones like all the time. That's literally my fucking thing. I have so many bones. Will it be under leather? Yeah, dragon bone. Give me one of those. Give me that. Okay. I know I have the fucking Volthor, his scales, and I have a bone. I have a shit ton of dragon bones. Don't at me. Inventory. There we go. Look at him. Oh my god, they even got the little effects going on. That's cool. We don't have the... Oh wait, the legendary dragon display. Yeah. Here we go. Now we're cooking. We have this one? Okay, but that's a specific dragon we need. And then this one is also a specific dragon we need that we don't have. I'm gonna check on the other ones. That one's specific. Storage, 1 dragon scale. We do have a dragon scale and a dragon bone. The fuck you mean? Okay, hold on. Let me get the dragon bone and the dragon scale. I guess I have to manually get them. Sometimes they get a little hacked up, but that's okay. All right, give me my dragon bone and dragon scale. Scale, I have. Bone, I have. There we go. Alright, and let's build our other dragon. So we have guards that guard the museum at night. One time they stole all our stuff at the museum and I didn't like it. It was really annoying. Whoa. Okay, cool. Craft loot can be kind of fucky sometimes. Yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, hi, Lux! I always misread it as dad trick quest, and now I'm wondering which stage trick prince is the most dad core. I mean, listen, my whole VTuber lore has me making a pact with Hermaeus Mora. So when we saw him for the first time, I went, hi, Dad! Hermaeus Mora is my dad. That's canon now. So we still have a few, like, the farm animals we need to get. It's just one of those things where it's like, for the farm animal displays, I don't want to kill a dog, you know? I don't want to kill things I don't have to. But we are getting really far, though. I think we literally just need the farm animals, the rest of the dragons, and then the stuff that goes in a jar. And we can also have some flowers and stuff planting going on. But that's coming along well. But yeah. Are we ready to go steal some blood? I hope you guys are ready to steal blood. I'm really excited. And we do need to talk to Aryan. Aryan's basically our homie at the museum. He's the curator. I go get the stuff. He, like, talks and yaps about the stuff and learns about the stuff. So we're gonna go... We're gonna... Hey! That's our random ghost man. His name is Niles. He's cool. Whose blood we stealing? Well, according to my dad, We need to get Orc blood, Falmer blood, Dark Elf blood, and Wood Elf blood. We already have High Elf blood because I kind of just went to the Thalmor Embassy and started blasting. For once, Vanya isn't stealing blood for herself. Listen, she is the woman for the job. This woman has literally boiled people's blood to the point where they spontaneously combust. She is ready. But let's actually, since it is like 3 a.m. and I don't want to disturb Aryan, let's actually head to the safe house. We have our own little house here, which is really cute. And then that way we can, oh, it's over here. We can take a rest, get a sleep bonus, and then we'll see if we have any stuff in the sell pile that made money. See anything? We also have a shit ton of fate cards that we need to drop off. Fate cards are basically tarot cards, essentially, added by this mod pack, and you can build decks of them, and once you complete the deck, you have a display, which is really cool. So let's see. I don't think we've been to the safe house in a while. I don't know, man. Something about the safe house, like it literally, I've seen so many Skyrim house mods. I love a lot of Skyrim house mods. But something about the safe house is just so cozy. Like, can we have an Instagram moment? Let's have an Instagram moment together. Look at her. She's so cute. I love her. I love you, my cunty war criminal. Okay, there we go. She looks like she hates everything. Perfect. Okay. There we go. We had our Instagram moment. But like, it's small, but it's cute. Like, it's homey. You know what I mean? It's very homey. Okay, so it turns out we did still have some mannequins, so we didn't need to get rid of all of our armor, but it's whatever. We can always get it back someday, you know. For some reason, I guess it's just one of those things we just always forgot about it, you know. But let's see. There's something I'm looking for, but I don't remember what it was. Oh, right. I want to see if we made any money off of selling shit, because we have kind of, no. Okay, we have this random sell pile where we just kind of dump shit there and it's supposed to be sold, but I guess Aryan has not gone on that lately. How's our supplies looking? Do we have enough food in the kitchen? We have, oh, we eating good tonight, besties. Hell yeah. I'm here for the happy and the cuntiness. Fuck yeah. There's nothing in here. But we do have some treats out for everybody, and I think we can store like wine and stuff here too, which is pretty cool. So let's sleep here. We'll go up to the bedroom. We actually also have a bathhouse over here as well, and a secret passage too. Sleepy Bear, thank you so much for the follow. You know, guess I can keep girl boss. Welcome to the stream. So let's see. Yeah, it's nighty night time. Let's go to bed, because I don't think we've slept in 32 days. But yeah, a quick little safe house tour for people that haven't seen it. This is my bedroom. This is where I do my writing and my household planning. Furniture selections. Wait, I didn't know I could do that. Oh, wait, that's cool. Okay. We have little outfits. We can set our clothes here. You can even set like custom outfits to be like ready to go. I think it's, yeah, you can like just change outfits here. So I have, I don't think I have, I never like set my outfits, but she has a few different outfits that are on the mannequin. She has like a noble dress that she wears, and she has another adventurer's outfit. This is kind of like her season 2 adventurer's outfit. And then we also have, this is the safe, but I had to clear it all out because I had to buy a bunch of houses to become Thane of Solitude, and now I don't have any fucking money. Well, how much money do we have? Not enough. I'm willing to, well, we can put like 10,000 gold in here probably, and it's fine. Let me see. We're just gonna put that much money in there just to, maybe it'll gain interest, you know. But you can see as you put the money in there. Oh my god, there's so many raids tonight. Soja Pilot, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, gamers. Hello, hello, hello. I don't think did we get a shout out for Kiri or Soja? I don't think we did. Let me see. I would do it, but thank you, gamer, for the raid. Welcome in. What did you play? Did you have fun? Let me shout out. Let me see. Shout out. Beep, 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 beep. Let me make sure I type this right. There we go. And also, I'll do the other shout out later for Kiri because I don't think hers went through. But thank you so much for the raid. I hope you had a good stream. What did you guys play? Alright, let's see. But yeah, you can kind of like fill the treasury and eventually it'll get really, really good. I think some of the chests up here in the safe room are functional. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. You can see I got my gold ingots and my pile of gold going on. But I can also, the way I can close this is there's a little switch over here. So if I get robbed, No one will steal all my money. But we also have a little bathhouse over here that's super cute, and I can access my wardrobe from here. The bath itself is really pretty, TBH. Like, the little, like, tile and stuff on that is just, like, oh, so fucking pretty. It's so, like, detailed, you know? Played some of the new Space Marine 2 campaign. Ooh, I've heard about that. I hope you enjoyed it. I need to definitely check that out. But yes, I love the safe house. There's also, like, I don't know if we have this mod in the collection, but I know there is a mod called Soaps of Skyrim, where you can collect different soaps. And if you have that mod, there's actually a display in here for all the soaps. But you can fill this up, and it can get all, like, steamy. So if you want to take, like, sexy pictures of your OCs, this is a good room to do it in. There are some houses that have bath mods where you walk into the bathtub and it automatically makes you naked. This one doesn't. I just think it's funny and I wanted to share. So let's put our tarot cards here. I think that's all we have for that. We still are carrying a lot of stuff. We have a lot of bones because I like to summon boner armies. And let me put Kiri's shout out here too, because I don't think I shouted her out. You need my mod list? Well, good news for you. Let me do this real quick. There we go. Oh, I have to wait 9 seconds. Hold on. I actually have my mod list. My mod list is based off of Immersive and Epic, but I've modified it a little bit. I added like 50 extra mods on top, so our total mod list is around 850. I'm hoping to get it to 900 at some point. But I have the link to the mod collection I use, as well as my actual mod watch over there too. So if you want to see some of the additional mods I've added on to Immersive and Epic. So there we go, everyone got a shout out. But yeah, so we're gonna sleep because we haven't slept in 32 days. Girl has been busy. And then we're gonna talk to Aryan about what's going on, because we also got an assassin trying to kill us from the Morag Tong. Not sure what I did to prompt that, but probably some sort of war crime. But they gave us a letter, so we definitely need to talk to him about that. But we are well rested. You can see the light coming in. I don't know. Oh, that is the call to Oblivion. If I don't summon something from Oblivion every so often, the spirits get mad at me. But there's also this extra space over here, which you can kind of do whatever you want with. You can put like children's rooms in here. You can do like spaces for your followers. I'm not sure what we're gonna do with it yet. I haven't thought about it, TBH. Chances are it's a war crime. Yeah. She does that a lot. I mean, I feel like stealing people's blood, I don't know if it's a war crime, but it's certainly a crime. Like, it's not like she's borrowing it. She's not gonna give it back, you know? Alright, Aryan, hi.
Good to see you again.
Hi, bestie. Okay, here. What can you tell me about this?
Interesting. It looks like a broken ruby of some kind. No, not a ruby, but rather... Oh my. This couldn't possibly, could it? I believe this may be a shard of the
How'd you even give back blood? Carefully.
At the end of the Oblivion Crisis, Martin Septim sacrificed himself to banish Mehrum's Dagon and seal the gates.
Oh, that's nice of him.
Which shattered the amulet in the process, breaking the covenant with Akatosh. There were reportedly 5 shards which have been safeguarded by the Imperial cult, but after the invasion of the White Gold Tower and the White Gold Concordant, they were lost.
Damn, that's crazy.
They have been rumored to pass between guardians.
Look at her little
who would
hair
protect
flip, she's
them
so
until a
con.
means of supposedly reforming the amulet is found. Apparently someone associated with the Daedra are seeking these fragments. I'll do some research and
Oh
let
my
you know how I
god,
turn
who would associate with Daedra? That's crazy. I would never do that. That's not good. That's not good. Alright, let's go continue our quest for blood. Okay. This quest is really cool. Yeah, I'm excited to try it. I don't know if we're going to start tonight because I kind of want to focus on the blood stuff tonight, but we're definitely going to do it next time. As well as some of the Thieves Guild stuff. We got some other cool quests I want to do because we got another quest related to Boethia that I want to do as well. So what would be a good place for stealing people's blood? Let's fast travel over here. I don't know if we cleared that area out or if it even needs to be cleared. So let's fast travel over to one of the shipwrecks over there. There we go. And see if there's anyone that needs to die. Oh my god, not you. Okay. I don't... Yeah, okay. Is there any people here? Looking for people I can murder. No. Yes? No. Hello? Hello? It's just a bunch of mud crabs, it seems. Oh, how'd you not die from that? The fuck? I almost killed myself, but I didn't. That's the thing with blood magic, is it does use your health as a casting source, so if you accidentally double-click the spell you want to cast, you will kill yourself. Which is not good. What color is Vanya's hair again? She is a blonde. She's a natural blonde, kind of like a golden blonde, maybe a strawberry blonde, some might call it. I might post more screenshots of her now that we've kind of put her back in her base outfit. I still want to like tweak her, or her base preset, because at one point we changed her preset because I wanted her to look like older, but she kind of lost some of her personality through it. She kind of just started looking a little generic, so I feel like she looks like meaner in this one, which like I know sounds like bad, but that's kind of what I wanted. She's not a nice person. So I might do some tweaking with her after stream of like her appearance and stuff like that. Let's go back to Skyrim because I don't think there's anything to clear here. Hopefully, whoa. Whoa. Here we go. You went over here? There's a dead guy. Let's see. Shadow Green Cavern. Have we been there before? We have. That's by the Thalmor Embassy, so I don't know if I want to head over there. Let's see. The Statue of Meridia could be an option. Lost Echo Cave we haven't cleared, so let's go over to that one. Just when you think you're at your lowest, a blonde motherfucker comes along and makes everything so much worse. Yeah, that's my girl. That's Vanya. She's the worst. She's awful. Okay. Let's see if there's people for me to steal's blood here. So we need Dark Elf, Orc, Wood Elf, and Falmer. Yeah, I think it's just those three, okay? She is a blonde baddie. Ooh, we have a display for this here. Hello. Is that a noose? Ruh-roh, Raggy. Oh. Ooh, okay. Let's see. Hello? This is spooky. The music here is really good, which is adding to that. Greybeards were thinking, what a fucking nerd was Akatosh thinking? Hello? Oh, there's a dig site over here. It's a Falmer dig site, so hopefully there's some Falmer, because we need their blood. Oh, no, I'm digging. I'm digging. Please don't hit me. I'm digging. I'm digging. I'm digging. Okay, okay. Where are you? Where'd you come from? It says there's a night prowler. Where the fuck are they? Hello? Hello? We need that potion of vigorous healing. Anything good over here? Somewhere. This looks like it could be a hidden door. Yeah, it says there's a Falmer around here. And I'd love to murder them, but I don't know where they are. That's where we came from, isn't it? Am I missing something, perhaps? Let's look around a little bit closer and see if we can find like a switch or something. Because I feel like there's like a hidden door here. Although, we haven't explored this path. Maybe I missed something over here. Could have been there's like a fork in the road or something. Yeah, it says they're over there. Hello? Yeah, I think there is a separate way. Exactly where we came from. But where the fuck is the Falmer? Unless this is part of another quest I'm not supposed to be here yet. That doesn't remind me of anything. Yeah, because there's clearly another path over there, but how do we get to it? Here. It'd be the way right over here, right? Yeah. Ceremonial. Oh. Yeah, it is a hidden door. But I'm not oh. I'm not supposed to be here yet, I think is what it is. But hey, we got some archaeological fragments, so that's a win. I didn't know she would become a war criminal. Yes, you did. You're the god of time. She's just a girl. You know, she's just silly. She's just a, you know, have you heard that song that's like trending on TikTok, that I'm a girly girl with a girly secret. I accidentally killed a man. That's her. But she did not accidentally kill the man. She did it very purposefully. Oh, wait, there's people. Oh, wait. Oh, they're all storm cloaks. None of them are gonna be elves. God damn it. Let's see. That's something for later. Daedric Wait, what the fuck is the Daedric Castle? Hold on. I forgot about the Daedric Castle. Hold the fuck up. I want to see the Daedric Castle. The Stormcloaks. Yeah, amen, brother. I don't know. I usually never play the Stormcloaks because I personally would pick Imperial. Like, if it was like I was playing as myself. But I am kind of excited for the Freya playthrough because we are going to pick Stormcloaks with that one. But it's going to be very much a, oh, I don't like, I don't like this. I did this because I thought I was supposed to, and I don't like it. Yeah, I guess maybe it's in here? Rock Burrow. Will that lead us to the Daedric Castle, maybe? Let's see. Oh yeah, there's flame ladies over here. This one does say cleared, though. There might be some Falmer in here, if I recall correctly. So we're gonna send some flesh boys out. Let's send the big daddies out. And then hopefully we can get some... Yeah, there should be... Yeah, because she respawned. So then the Falmer in here should have respawned, right? Huh? Oh, that's just a guy. God damn it. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Aha, boils your blood. Oh shit, he's actually really high level. Hold on. Oh fuck. I didn't think this through. I did not think this through. Okay, fast healing. Can you heal myself? Okay. It is really taking your sweet time to kill that fucking flame lady. Okay, let's... Another one? Thank you? Okay. And then, you know what? You guys get that. I'll get this gal. Oh my god, the fucking... Okay, she's dodging. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Where'd he go? Where'd you go? Where'd the guy go? Oh shit! Okay, alright, plentiful healing, please. Okay, help me! Help me! Okay, we need more potions. Fortify Magicka, Regenerate Magicka, Vigorously heal me, please. I never finished a museum, so I'm not surprised. That's valid. Yeah, I know I've heard of it before. Oh shit, that fucking Magicka potion kills me. Okay, great. You know what, we can just heal myself. No, what the fuck?! Okay. Well, I guess we're not going there. It's fine. It's fine. It's cool. Still in here? What? Where the fuck are we? We're still in the same area, and I accidentally made her a virgin. God damn it, I didn't mean to do that. Alright, let's send the homies out. Land a Mass the Unseen. Who the fuck's that? Okay. Let's see. We need Ice Spike. Let's just do some ice spells for now. Okay, there we go. We're cooking him. We're cooking him. He has no wards up. He has no fucking defenses. No, I accidentally pressed the virgin button and I made her a virgin. I don't know what the virgin button's for, but sometimes if I accidentally press this one button, it says they're a virgin or they're not a virgin. And I don't know what the purpose of that is, but it's there. Oh, I got cleared 50 dungeons. Okay. Oh wait, you might have blood. No, he's not an elf. Well, we killed him at least. That's cool. I feel like there might be Falmer here, though. We might be able to get the Falmer blood here. No, we're not gonna sacrifice a flawless gem. Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Wait. Why is she naked now? Or, she's not naked, but... Oh Oh my god, he stole my fucking clothes. Give those back. He stole my clothes. Okay, you're the worst. Okay. Jesus Christ. Wait, why can't I can't equip my own clothes? The fuck? Why? Okay, let me do the Archmage robes. Let me see. The slutty Archmage robes, but that's unrelated. Why? Wait, my robe! No! I like that robe. Okay, what if I drop it and pick it up again? Where'd it go? Here it is. Can I have it now? Please? Oh, thank fucking goodness. Okay. I really like her robes. I think her outfit's really cute. Okay, like, can we... Look at her. She's so cute. She's got the pink and the cape. Like, she looks cool, okay? Alright, let's save over here and hopefully we can find a Falmer. If we get through all this and we don't find a Falmer, I'm low-key gonna be kind of pissed. Alright, let's see. Hello? Hello, there's a troll skull. We don't need that. Oh, fuck. This is a book we need. Okay, shit. I'll take that. I can't believe I missed a book. I fucking love books, dude. Let's see. I don't think we need an entire apple pie, not to be a hater. Let's see. Is this it? Holy shit, that was it. Okay, great. No Falmer for us. No elves for us. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. And then I think I got distracted. We had a raid. I know last SKYRIM Sunday I was talking about how I started a weight loss medication, and I told you guys how I had lost like 5 pounds or something like that. And I'm like finally getting like my diet and exercise under control. Well, now I've lost 10 pounds. So like we're cooking. I finally have been on it for 1 month, and I've lost 10 pounds in 1 month, and I'm very excited about it. But yeah, let's go here. And maybe we haven't gone over to this area. So this is undiscovered. So maybe there's some people here we might be able to murder. But thank you, gamers. I just wanted to share that with you guys because I was really excited. It's just been for like so long I wasn't able to like lose any weight. And I'm just happy that something's finally working now, you know? So, oh, that's the virginity button. Is it this one? It's the period button. The period's the virginity button. Okay, now we know. But thank you, gamers. I'm hoping if I keep with it and I keep doing good, I'll be able to lose, keep up with like 10 pounds a month. So then if I have all of October, then I will have potentially lost, or all of September, all of October, I can lose 20 more pounds by my cruise. And then I can be sexy. I'm already sexy, but I can be sexy and not have IBS. Because that's the real reason I got on it, is like, oh, fuck yeah, hold on, people. Hello? Are any of you elves? Hello? I'm doing a study. I'm doing a research study. I'm doing a research study. Wait, where the fuck? Come here. Come here. Come here. Get out of my life. Give me your blood, dude. I need that. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here.
Die, damn you.
Give me that. Give me that. You don't need to live. No blood. Okay. You're an elf. Let's see. But yeah, I am already sexy. But one of the things I realized is my weight has made it a lot harder to keep my tummy issues under control, and that's how I was in college. And when I was in college, I lost a ton of weight, and then my tummy issues kind of went away, and then I gained a bunch of weight when I started teaching, because teaching was stressful. I mean, teaching at like public schools and shit. And then my tummy issues came back up again. So like, I'm hot, but I'm doing it like for health reasons. But I'm still hot, you know? So let's see. Yeah, I don't think we've been in here. And this might be another one where, again, we may need, well, there's probably gonna just be Draugr in here, right? Probably. At least we have the, well, no, this isn't the one we're going in. This isn't the one we're going in. That's right. We're going somewhere else. I got distracted. Keep on track with the mission at hand. Okay. So we're gonna find that. We're gonna hopefully find more people we can murder, maybe on the road there or something. And then we can yee and haw, you know. My parents and cousin are teachers. Yeah, I am very happy to not be in the classroom anymore. Like, I feel kind of bad because, like, sometimes my old teacher friends will, like, text me and they'll be like, how was it? Or how is it? And I'm like, oh, it's going good. And they'll be like, I bet you miss having summers off, don't ya? And it's like, not really. Because it was like one of those things where it's like, having summers off was cool, but like, when I don't feel super stressed and drained all the time, I can kind of deal with not having the summers off, you know? Like, I'd rather have more money and less stress than summer off, TBH. I can now take the time off whenever I want, so, you know, it's cool. Okay, there we go. Alright, none of you guys are probably gonna be elves either, but it's worth a shot. You nearly burned down the school. Holy shit. Yeah, no. No elf. Still see if they have anything good. It's mostly Forsworn though. Probably gonna be Nords then. Wouldn't it be? Yeah. I mean, we can still give it a try. Are you naked? I think she's naked. But that's okay. Right. She is also level 14, so we should be able to just yee and haw her fairly effectively. Cool. Alright, easy peasy. Alright, no elf though. No elf though. Anything cool over here though? Damn, that was literally all for nothing. Suddenly, there are no elves in Skyrim. God damn. Okay. Let's head. Just trying to think of places, you know? Serpent's Bluff Redoubt, Golden Hills Plantation. Might just start murdering people. I don't know, man. Like, I know that's a bad thing to say, but part of me is just like, I could just kill people and call it a day, you know? The Storm Close one after all. No! Let's, I think, well, hold on. It doesn't have to be, what the fuck? It doesn't have, hello?
All yours.
How do you sleep at night?
On a mattress from Mattress Firm. They have a low price.
Is there a YouTube video playing? Where did this YouTube video come from? What the fuck? Hello? Why is there a YouTube video just start playing? The fuck? Wait, no, there is no YouTube. Just an ad started playing. Is there a mattress firm in my Skyrim? Wait, did you hear that? Or am I going fucking insane? I think there's a mattress firm in my Skyrim. The fuck? Maybe I'm insane. It's also possible. Even the arena and the leveler's tower will let you spawn in specific races. Oh, okay. So that is kind of cheesing it, you know. But we could do that, you know. I don't know where that came from because I just opened up my fucking like. I don't have anything open. Why is mattress firm stalking me? What the fuck? Mattress firm? That's not good. Oh, wait, let me summon something. Alright, we do need to check back in with Aryan, though. So maybe there's still dead bodies here? We'll have to double check, but they might be all gone. Let's see. Blood? Oh. Any up here? Blood? No, well, definitely not for you. Let's see. Over here. Oh, Berk's still there. Are you having fun? Oh, that's good. Yeah, damn. I guess most of the bodies, except for a few, despawned then, which is a little annoying. We might. Yeah, if we do the leveler style strat, I'm probably gonna do it off stream just because it's gonna be kind of lame. We'll try a few more, and if we need to murder a few innocent farmers, then that's okay. It's for science. Murder is okay if it's for a good cause. I don't know what that good cause would be, but, you know. Trader's Post, I think, had a good amount of people in it, too. That was a bandit thing as well, so maybe they respawned. But I know sometimes the bandits will respawn, so we'll check that one. And then, oh, who's mining? Who are you?
That spell looks dangerous. Keep your distance.
An elf? No, okay. If I'm gonna be so real, if he was an elf, I was gonna murder him. I was ready, bro. I was like, well, okay. It's also not murder if there's no survivors. Here we go. Perfect. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Gonna die for that.
We probably also, it probably doesn't help that we're close to Windtown. So we're gonna need to maybe go west if we want to find more elves, I think. But that's okay. Yeah. Blood? Blood? Hey, 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 blood. No! Okay. No blood. Well, there are dark elves in Windtown. Let's see. Blood? Oh, blood? Wait! That's an elf? Maybe he's a high elf then? Because I was about to say, I'm like... you are an elf, sir. Let me take your... I thought he was a wood elf still, TBH, so I guess... Maybe not, you know? Alright, let's check out these farms and see if we can murder innocent people. See if it's worth it for the cause. Oh wait, Hlalu farm! Oh, that should be Dunmer, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Hollyfrost farm? That one may not be, but I think Hlalu farm is Dunmer. Okay. I don't mind murdering innocent people. It's for the cause. And by the cause, I mean dark rituals, but it's a cause. Not a good one, but it is a cause. Oh wait, I also need a goat. Not for anything in particular, but for one of the displays at the museum. Thanks, man. Okay. Let me take that real quick. It's for one of our dioramas in the Hall of Natural Science. Okay, Brandy Mug Farm. Hi, is anyone out here? Let's see. You?
Please stay away while you got that spell on you.
Yeah, let's just head over to here. And then that guy. Oh, there's people with him though. Let's see. Maybe there's one inside? Because if I kill that guy over there on the grindstone, there's a lady, right? So I'm just gonna break and enter real quick. Hopefully no one saw me. I forgot to sneak before I did that, but it's probably fine. It may not be fine. Perfect. Okay, no bounty was added. We should be good. We should be good. Anyone in here? Doesn't look like it. Well, it's not a murder if there's no survivors. So I guess we're just gonna go that route. Let's see. What would maybe kill them instantly? Probably this one. And I already have summons out, so let's kill... yeah, might be witnesses over there, but I don't think anyone was... Well, there were people out there, so we just have to do this quickly. Quietly? Probably not, but...
That spell looks dangerous. What do you think you're... Please don't kill me.
Oh my god. Okay, fuck. He has a lot more health than I thought he did. That was 200 though. Let me fast heal real quick. God, I need to kill her though. We can't have any... Oh no, she is dead. Okay, perfect. And then you also need to die.
Help me!
Perfect. Okay, there we go. Alright, last witness killed. Perfect! Like I said, it's not a murder if there's no witnesses! Okay, we'll take the key to their house. Fuck it. Take this. You're not an elf, but... Aha! Okay. Yippee! Okay, let's heal myself. But we now have Dark Elf Blood. We now have Dark Elf Blood. Yay! Okay, what do we still need? We need Wood Elf, Orc, and, what is it? Orc, Falmer, and Wood Elf. Okay, so we're on a good track. Oh, I should take their crops. I should have harvested their crops, sold them to them, and then killed them. Rookie mistake. But that's okay. Oh, I'll take your money though. Let's see. Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll end it here for now. Just visit one of the orc strongholds. That's what I was thinking. And we'll continue our murder spree next stream. I want to keep going low-key, but it's getting late. And I have to work tomorrow. So we are going to, unfortunately, have to wrap up here for tonight, gamers. But thank you guys all so much for hanging out. Let's go over to our little ending screen. We can talk about what's coming up next. Okay, all right. Let's see. Where's my little thing? But gamers, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a lot of fun. I know I did. I want to say we got a lot done. We didn't. It did take us 2 hours to murder someone, and it was very stressful, but thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for all the raids, by the way. Thank you for all the love tonight. I really appreciate it. So welcome in new gamers. If you would like to keep up with me and my streams, I do have a Discord. I also have a Twitter and a YouTube where I post all my VODs, and I'm also writing a book. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so like I said before, I will not be streaming on Wednesday just because it's David's birthday. Wish David a happy birthday. But we will be back on Thursday, and we're actually going to be streaming with David. We're going to go back to our David teaches me how to do Legacy of the Dragonborn correctly. So that'll be coming up, and then it'll be SKYRIM Sunday again. But yeah, so thank you gamers so much for hanging out. Let's see who we can send my love and affection to. I'm still kind of fucked up about the mattress firm ad haunting me, not gonna lie. Let me see. We're gonna go raid. Who do I want to raid? We're gonna go raid Vivi. Vivi's really cool. They're playing Splatoon 3. I actually met them through my work with the Off-Kai Expo choir. They're a very talented soprano, and they did some of the guide work on the guides for Off-Choir. So very talented individual playing Splatoon 3. What should our raid message be? I haven't raided them before, so I can't be like super unhinged. But I don't think I need to be like super normal either. I think we can use a gun. If you're subbed, we're gonna do EB raid and then the gun emote. But if you are not subbed, I think, let me make sure these are follower emotes. I think this one's a follower emote. Tell me if it's not. Then we're just gonna do the screaming. There we go. EB raid. But if that's not a follower emote, let me know, and we'll change it to hearts. Does that work? Tentacles commit war crimes. Amen. But gamers, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you had a wonderful night. I hope you have a great start to your week. Get some good rest, eat some yummy food, take care of yourself, and I will see you guys. It's a sub emote? Okay, let me do, because I know I have follower emotes, I just don't remember which one's which. We're just gonna keep it simple though, and we'll do this. EB raid. There we go. So that one works, or if you have a sub emote, whatever you want to do. But yeah, alright. Bye gamers, I will see you on Thursday. Bye bye.